I'm the American.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tinfoil Tuesday. I hope you're having a good week so far. I am the Tinfoil Queen today, as per Discord's choice per costumes, so we're nice and foily. How's everyone doing? We are playing bingo today, so make sure you get your bingo cards ready if you're interested. Let's see what's going on in chat. Humiliated Grapes, thanks for 30 months, says 2.5 years. Time has flown by. It has indeedly do. Terradona, thanks for 130 stream streak. That's quite a few streams. More than a few. Thank you very much for the constant viewership. I think that's all the housekeeping. We are in the middle of costume month. We're picking different costumes every day. Join the Discord if you want to be a part of the voting. I think that's it. Let's just jump into it.
I'm the American dream on steroids. I was an ex-crack addict and found Jesus Christ. You need help. This kid needs prayer. We need to pray for him.
We gotta make sure we get Boxy in on this. Boxy loves Mike Lindell.
We need to pray for him.
Hey, Ash.
We need to pray.
By the way, we are going to be doing a patron-only live stream. I believe this... My calendar won't pull up. Kind of annoying. Give me a sec to figure this out. Fucking Windows 11.
Love it. Keep moving.
I'll figure it out. But sometime this weekend we're doing a patronly live stream. I'll post about it on the Patreon. Overthought says, all hail the tinfoil queen. Perfect way to chill out after a root canal #2. Oof. Glad that's out of the way though. Sorry you had to deal with that. Hope you got some decent pain meds.
Boo all you want. Boo all you want. It's okay. Spending all your money because you've been conned by Donald Trump. I'm sorry.
And he doesn't do that.
Who won Wisconsin, though? Who won Wisconsin?
Have to do with the widespread fraud. I'm telling you, I want the machines gone.
Loud noises.
God bless you all. I know a lot of you are out in the parking lot and you probably see me getting attacked by a journalist out there. Well, you guys, and I thank you for all trying to get involved there, but this is how we get the word out.
How are you doing today, Mr. Lindell? How's the My Pillow business going?
It's been tough because we've been the most attacked company in history.
The most attacked company in history. Literally, Volkswagen worked for the Nazis. And you think that you have it harder than any company in history. You squandered your money. It's no one else's fault, Mike. You got pulled into conspiracy theories because you have an addictive personality. I get that. I have an addictive personality too. But I channeled that into Blu-rays. Blu-rays on the bingo card. Which is healthier than crack or conspiracy theories, marginally.
How are you going to prevent the Democrats from stealing this upcoming election in the same way they stole the last one?
Well, it's I call it the uniparty. I mean, that stole the last election. The Democrats wanted these voting machines gone for 2 decades. I've been fighting for 3 years to get paper ballots hand counted. We have over 250 counties now that have committed to paper ballots in the 20.
The song in the background has the lyric, "You'll make a grown man cry." And it kind of seems like Mike wants to cry by the end of this, so that's appropriate.
2024 election. Is there going to be corruption in it? Absolutely, but we can only pray that our real president gets enough votes to override the theft, so to speak.
Can I ask you about something that worries me personally? So after the election, Donald Trump brought these 62 cases to different courts, and all of them were shot down, mostly due to evidentiary reasons. So why was that?
No, that's a lie you just told.
Why?
No judge in the United States looked at any of the evidence based on merit.
But they didn't have evidence in their filing. They should have said, here are irregularities we found, and they didn't. And because of the lack of evidence, the cases weren't heard. Mike, did you listen to anything that happened? Like that whole 6 months where Trump was really trying to go to court and waste everyone's time and money. Whatever. Benekagami says, aren't you addicted to conspiracies too? Debunking them, that is? I can stop anytime I want.
All the cases were thrown out on
33 of them were shot down due to evidentiary reasons. The standing cases were people were looking for crazy remedies like flipping states entirely.
No, that's not true. I've got millions of dollars in this. All the cases that were brought up,
that's
no
not
judge
true.
Looked at the...
That felt very argument from consequences-y, didn't it? No, that's not true. I've spent millions of my own money. I have ruined my life over this. What you're saying can't be true. Otherwise, I'm just a fool. And that's devastating to my ego, so I'm going to decide what you just said isn't true. That's not very healthy or reasonable, is it? Hey, non-binary, how you doing? Ah! Sorry, my crown keeps getting detached from the thing. There we go. That'll do. That'll do.
Evidence based on merit. They were kicked out on standing, or they kicked the can down the road. an Obama-appointed judge, went to court on January 9th. She said,
Obama-appointed judge.
hey, there's widespread, or the experts say that there's corruption in these machines. She said that. And you're not a conspiracy theorist if you question them. That, and the expert, Alex Halderman.
Sure, you can question whatever you want. That doesn't inherently make you a conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't make your questions an answer. It doesn't make your questions a declarative statement of fact. Right? You can ask, are these voting machines secure? The fact is, you went out of your way to manufacture or solicit false evidence from people who, frankly, I think scammed him. For those who aren't familiar, I'm pretty sure Mike has actually been scammed. Like, he really believes this stuff, and he has given people millions of dollars who have given him all this information on the, quote, cyber. And I'm pretty sure it's just an actual con artist taking his money and stringing him along and making him believe all this stuff is true. It's, like, depressing. Like, don't get me wrong, if anyone deserves it, it's Mike Lindell. He's a huge piece of shit, you know? Remember when he went into the White House in Trump's final days with a whole plan that they zoomed in on the picture, and it had, like, martial law as part of it to seize voting machines? This guy actively wanted to partake in an actual coup, so I don't feel bad for him personally. But it is emblematic of certain personality types and people's propensity towards self-destructive behaviors. Unfortunately, their self-destructive behaviors hurt people around them too, which is a bummer. Will Kale, thanks for a 3-stream streak, says, the biggest conspiracy theory is that I haven't missed a stream, and yet I'm back to 3 days watch streak. Well, that's bullshit. Hey, Profane Priestess. Fennikagami says the evidence was a bunch of papers of people signing, I totally saw voter fraud happen for the Democrats, trust me, bro. Remember when that, woman showed up to court, I think in Michigan, drunk? And was, or I should say, allegedly drunk. And she was like, I signed an affidavit, did you? Did you? Not making fun of someone being inebriated, but the standards they were going for in terms of the evidence at the time, pretty low. Bittergrin, thanks for 41 months, says, if I was just a little less moral, I could make so much money on scamming Trumpers. You really could, but you shouldn't. Be the better person. Why? The right thing to do. History Chick 96, thanks for 37 months. Much appreciated. For the support. If anyone wants to support the channel, you can always gift subs or become a subscriber yourself to the channel. Always helps. And you'll get rid of ads. Which really, who wants ads? They're awful.
Election in 3 minutes with a ballpoint pen.
So why did Trump appoint these judges that decided to not look at the evidence, is what you're saying?
No, it's not.
I wasn't sure how you felt about that, and if you wanted to keep this username separate from your actual name. Peep Lord says, of martial law and Republican fascism...
They decide...
Let me pull this up. Rachel Maddow thing.
They decided that as the Washington State Republican Party, they would, this year, take a stand against democracy. And I do not mean this as a metaphor. I am not performing political analysis. I am literally describing what they literally did.
Moira Soma, thank you for gifting a sub to Racheology and kicking off a hype train. Let's see how this hype train does. Choo-choo.
Want to be a democracy. Originally, congressmen were elected by a direct democracy, senators were elected by their state legislatures, and presidents are elected by the Electoral College. We are devolving into a democracy because now...
We're devolving into a democracy.
Congressmen
is a sentence that makes me cringe in every fiber of my being.
And
every cell in my body wants to vomit.
Are elected by the same pool, a direct democracy, and with the national popular vote coming,
we're a representative democracy.
We're going to be electing our president by a direct democracy too. Bad idea.
Bad idea. We are devolving into a democracy. We do not want to be a democracy. Okay?
Well, that's depressing.
Had nothing to do with it, and you're not an independent journalist. You're full of crapola. These judges are just in fear. It doesn't matter if it's an Obama-appointed judge or a Trump-appointed judge.
Then why'd you bring it up? You're the one that brought up who appointed the judge. That's weird. That's weird that you brought it up, and now you're trying to say it doesn't matter. Then why'd you bring it up? It was your rhetorical device.
Everybody around Donald Trump, everybody from Mike Pence to Mark Meadows, everybody said, hey man, there's not, even his own Attorney General, Bill Barr. So when he makes these claims of top-down election fraud.
Let me tell you, Chris, we'll talk with Chris Krebs. We'll talk about Chris.
Scotty the Scott, thanks for 22 months, getting us over level 1 of the hype train. Much appreciated.
Crap. He said, he's the one that said the most secure election in history. He got let go by CISA for saying that false statement. 3 months later, he was on morning.
Trump fires security chief who said 2020 election was most secure in history, so Trump fires them. So Trump did that. Mike.
Joe.
I appreciate that little fact check. Adam, who made this video.
And they asked him, what's the biggest threat to our country? This was in the spring of 21. What's the biggest threat to the United States?
The republic, not a democracy thing annoys the heck out of me, considering democracies and republics are not mutually exclusive. We are a republic that votes and has representative democracy. They are not mutually exclusive. We are a republic in the sense that we are 50 states that are separate and have their own sovereignty on certain matters, but have a federal government that links us and creates standards for interstate commerce, defense, certain other things, like legal frameworks and stuff. They are not mutually exclusive concepts. Frustrating. Baha says, for when you discuss the Hellen Keller conspiracies, thank you. Appreciate the link. Oh, yeah, the car. And then Bumble Homestead, thanks for 200 bits. 12% to level 2 on a hype train. Let's see if we can get to level 5 today. If we can get to level 5, that would be incredible.
He said, bar none, a cyber attack in our elections right down to the local level. Bill Barr, crooked Bill Barr, what he did in the spring of 21, if you remember correctly, or not, actually it was in the winter. It was
Who was Bill Barr appointed by, though?
It doesn't matter who
does
appointed
matter.
him.
What do you
You
mean
say
it doesn't
Donald Trump
matter?
picks the best people, but then
If there was someone I liked as a politician and they kept appointing people that stabbed them in the back and you felt were, like, hurting them, wouldn't you think that they were making bad calls?
Who said Donald Trump picks the best?
Donald Trump said that himself. He said it himself. I picked the best people. I'm a businessman.
Bill Barr told people to stand down in Pennsylvania. Stand down. Do you like your country?
I love my country.
You are the problem.
I'm a
You never
patriot.
open your eyes.
That's why
You've told 4 lies on this show already.
I'm the one lying, man.
You just said that the judges ruled that there was no evidence of fraud.
They were shot down on.
Says, moreover, the Republican talking point makes democracy sound like a bad thing. Well, that's their point. That is their point. They are trying to make it sound like a bad thing. Correct.
Only one case based on merit. Nobody looked at the machine.
There's a case in Georgia where.
Let me just tell you.
Oh, they're gonna start shouting USA. Brilliant response. 3 letters. USA. USA. La 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 la. USA. Brilliant. Brilliant.
That's right. Let me just tell you.
It's a free country, guys.
Yeah. Let me just tell you. The Georgia judge, Obama appointed. How do you explain right in front of him? Hey, would you let me talk to him, please? I've spent
Funny, even Mike had to tell him to shut
$40 million
up. Minute and a half left on the hype train.
to cure our elections. This isn't about Donald Trump. I was on Jimmy Kimmel. If you bother and watch.
Oh my God, Mike is obsessed with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, who is like a milquetoast late night network TV show host, makes fun of Mike Lindell on occasion and he lives rent-free in this guy's skull. It's absolutely absurd how upset he gets, and he'll just bring up Jimmy Kimmel randomly. I've seen the clips. They're like the most bare bones making fun of him thing ever. And he gets so upset. Ferris Hex, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 1 of the hype train. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And Jimmy Kimmel asked me in the spring of 21.
I hate Jimmy Kimmel. I'm not a big fan of most late night hosts. I just don't find it funny. The only one I've ever really liked is Conan. Conan I like. Craig Ferguson's okay. But generally, it's just not my kind of humor, usually.
If your good friend Donald Trump
I've never understood Jay Leno. I've never understood that.
selected, like you say Biden was, would you still be sounding the alarm? We here in the United States, these computers, there's been everyone's protection, lawfare. You won't talk about
No, Jimmy Fallon's the one that got into NFTs.
Dominion or Smartmatic. You're protected.
And it was definitely naturally got into NFTs, and not that his agency owned and bought a large part in an NFT company and was using their clients to shill NFTs without officially saying it's an ad, which is illegal. The end of the air quotes.
Them. Why? They've attacked companies like...
I don't even consider John Oliver to be a late night host. He's basically his own thing.
My Pillow. I didn't change.
Why did Fox News settle with Dominion, in your opinion?
Why did Fox News settle with Dominion?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask Fox News? They never asked me for evidence. Nothing.
It's because Fox News is full of shit. I'm sorry, but Fox News is full of BS. When they say that Dominion voting machines are rigged and they settle out of court, I'm sorry, but Dominion is not as rigged as you guys say.
You know what?
Over and over, you come up with these...
problem in this country.
I am?
Yes, you are.
You're the one undermining our elections consistently, spreading these lies about widespread election fraud.
No lies.
So you're saying there's top-down election fraud in all of these swing states.
It's a uniparty. The Democrats wanted these machines gone. I've talked to the Democrats. I get blocked by uniparty Republicans like Robin Boss right here in Wisconsin. He found all the widespread fraud in Wisconsin. A report came out in this state. Are you from this state?
No, I'm not from...
No, of course you're not. Who are you from? Well, you're independent.
Indiana.
You're independent. Yeah, who are you from? What network is this?
YouTube channel. I run my own YouTube
Who are you from? Humiliated Grapes, thanks for gifting a sub.
channel. Yeah, well, I fund it myself.
Right, you fund it yourself, right?
So I can say whatever I want, yeah.
Oh, you can say whatever you want? Let me tell you, do you work for Dominion? This guy must work.
Do you work for Dominion? Is he trying to get sued even more? He's still in a lawsuit with Dominion, I'm pretty fucking sure. God, he just doesn't know when to stop. When you're digging a hole and you're 6 feet deep, stop digging. Stop it. 27% to level 3 on the
Work for Dominion and Smartmatic.
It's better than working for Russia like you do. I mean, you're helping Vladimir Putin undermine the election.
I'm the American dream on steroids. I was an ex-crack addict and found Jesus Christ. You need help. This kid needs prayer. We need to pray for him. We need to pray for him. We need to pray for him.
I love it. Keep booing.
We need to pray for
Boo all you want. Boo all you
Boos
want.
mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer.
And it's okay.
you guys.
Probably the best line from Rick and Morty. Bittergrin says he's just winding himself up and getting more and more worked up as he goes on. He's got that conspiratorial old man yells at clouds rage. Like, it's the same thing Cece has. They just... They clearly have high blood pressure and they just ramp themselves up and they get so mad. And it's all bottled up and... just feels like they're emotionally constipated. Looks like it, too.
This guy needs prayer. He's part of the problem in this country. His eyes are closed. He doesn't get it. Do you think I'm spending all my money? I want to save your country, our country.
People spend money on stupid things all the time. You can't just say you've spent millions of dollars. Great, you wasted millions of dollars. People waste money all the time. Doesn't mean you're right.
Both of our country.
A minute left on the hype train, 30% to level 3.
All your money because you've been conned by Donald Trump. I'm sorry.
Donald Trump has nothing to do with it. Don't you get it?
We're at a Trump rally. We're at a Trump rally.
And you know what?
Trump has nothing to do with it. We are at a Trump rally?
Preach all the time. What do I preach to everybody? Get rid of the computers in our elections. Is that what I preach? When have you seen me out there going, oh, if the shoe is on the other foot, do you think I wouldn't still be sounding the alarm? I would. Anybody that knows me, I would. So you can't sit here and tell me, you're going to call me I'm a grifter? I've spent every dime I've had in this world because I know we have to save our country, get rid of these computers.
And I don't think you're a grifter. You believe what you're saying, but I think that you've been misled by Donald Trump into thinking there's this widespread...
Donald Trump about this. Haven't you watched the news? I'm the only one in January of 2021. I got all the evidence.
What news does he think is saying that has evidence? What? Thank you for the hype train.
Nothing to do with Donald Trump. I'm the one that's got the evidence.
I did see the zombie Lindell picture. That feels like it's got to be edited to me, or it's just the worst lighting.
Millions of dollars and did my own investigations and got the Donald Trump had nothing
dressed like Uncle Sam.
to do with that.
So Donald Trump didn't pay a single penny out of his own pocket, but you're bankrupting yourself? Maybe you believe it, but Donald Trump, he's been using super PAC money to fund these lawsuits that he's lost over and over. He's lost.
You know what? Why don't you talk about me? Talk about me. I'm telling you, I want paper ballots hand counted. What do you got against me? What did I do? I was an ex-crack addict, the American dream. I have 2,000 employees that have been attacked by people like you over and over
it looked
and over
like a
again.
fake
Why?
picture.
Because I want paper.
Make sure you check things when you see them, people. Even if it's something that makes you laugh or seems funny, check it. Don't be credulous. Don't be super credulous.
Ballots hand counted.
Can I ask you a
Why are
question?
you attacking me because I want paper ballots hand counted?
I'm not attacking you because you want paper ballots. I'm attacking
That's exactly what you're doing.
because
That's what I want.
no, because you're spreading lies about election fraud that haven't been proven.
You're the ones that. Yes, they have been proven. They have been
In
proven.
what, in courts, or are there videos? Where have they
Right
been
here in
proven?
Wisconsin, the Supreme Court of Wisconsin ruled there was widespread fraud. Open your eyes.
What? What are you talking about? Are you talking about the one ruling where they were like, hey, they were too far away, the observers, and then that ruling got reversed? What are you even talking about? I don't even know what events he's speaking on in this point. Usually I'm decent at trying to navigate the conspiratorial mindset and their mythology, but I don't even know what he's talking about there.
Do you guys voted here in Wisconsin? The Supreme Court of Wisconsin said there was widespread fraud. They said there was widespread fraud. He's sitting here, he's calling all you guys in Wisconsin liars.
Who won
He's
this?
calling all you guys liars!
Who won this
Trying to get a mob to beat this kid up?
state of Wisconsin?
Prove it then.
I don't have to prove it negative.
They said that there was
So who won Wisconsin?
Donald Trump won Wisconsin. Period.
Did he?
Yes.
The electors went to.
But the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled here, they ruled there was fraud with the machines and the drop boxes. They didn't say if it was enough to turn it over. So you just told a lie. You said
He won Wisconsin. Joe Biden got the electors from Wisconsin, 100%.
The Supreme Court of
100%.
Wisconsin ruled that there was problems with this fraud.
That actually live in the state. How did that happen?
So you guys are actually saying.
There was more people on there that actually lived in the state. How did that happen?
Can I ask you
Guy's
that?
not even from this state. And
I
he's
know.
telling you.
And neither is Mike. Like, even if he is, like, what?
Can I ask you a question?
Your Supreme Court in Wisconsin, do you guys know?
The amount of tacky American flag clothing is, like, creepy to me.
Ruled there was widespread fraud. Do you know that? And he doesn't know that.
Who won Wisconsin though? Who won
What
Wisconsin?
does it have to do with the widespread fraud? I'm telling you.
Like, Homelander's about to show up and laser this kid's head off. I'm scared for him, honestly. This is a hostile crowd.
I want the machines gone. That's what I want. What does it have to do with
Can I ask you a question? So on
I think
January
he's lucky he's, like, a generic-looking white guy.
6th,
I don't think this crowd would be as nice if he wasn't. I'm
Pence
glad that he's in a situation where hopefully he's not in danger, but they are mad.
certified the results of the election. Do you think he was justified in doing that?
You know, let me tell you something.
That's the day Mike Pence certified the results of the election. Was Mike Pence
Let me tell
justified?
you something. I've spent all my money not to.
We know this. We know this.
Not to overturn an election. You're bringing up old stuff. I'm going forward. They said there was widespread fraud here. A judge was ruled on it, and to get rid of the machines. I'm telling you that, and you're saying, no, nobody ruled on that. You're lying. I don't care what you're saying about Donald Trump or who won what state. I'm telling you, that ship sailed. I'm not fighting. All you media put. Mike Lindell's trying to overturn the 2020 election. Since the spring of 21, I have said, you know what? That ship sailed. That don't matter. We have to get rid of these computers in our elections and go to paper ballots hand counted. That's the fact.
So I want to ask you, go back to my question. When Mike Pence certified the results of the election on January 6, 2021, was he justified in doing that, or should he have stopped the peaceful transfer of
I
power?
really don't care about that, but I will tell you this.
I'm sure he doesn't care. I'm sure he just doesn't want to say his actual opinion because it would make him look like a douche.
If he would have, would you let me talk?
Everybody's a rhino to you guys. Come on.
If he would have ruled and overturned it, then you know what? I believe we would have lost our country. You know why?
Why?
Because we wouldn't have found out what I found out, and everybody the last 3 years, that we got to get rid of these computers in our election. If that would have happened, that's the bottom
Amber Pretzel says, Mike, calm down. Please, you might actually have a heart attack.
line. We have to.
Seriously, he's got to have hypertension or something. Like, this
When
is
all these other countries
not
have
healthy.
no computers used in election. I don't care. The past don't matter. We learn from our past. And my pillow when I took in $100 million in my first inverse and woke up $6 million in debt, I learned from that. I almost lost the company. I learned from it. If 2012 hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here 184 million pillows later. If 2020 election hadn't happened, we wouldn't have learned that these computers have to go. That's what I stand for. Paper ballots, hand counted. So, period.
I just genuinely, I don't get how you can live in this reality where every court is rigged, every institution.
From experience, let me tell you, there's nothing more obnoxious than arguing with someone who is really, really wrong, but they have other people behind them who are also really wrong, and they applaud every time the other person says a wrong thing. It's genuinely one of the most surreal and annoying experiences you can have. I wouldn't recommend it. It happened in a discussion I had with Kent Hovind years ago. He had people with him to applaud when he said stupid shit. Frustrating.
We gave you enough attention. Game over.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, where I live, we use paper ballots as well.
Also, it doesn't speak highly of your presidential campaign event when one of your featured guests starts his speech by saying, "You probably saw me getting attacked in the parking lot."
All right, let's see what is next. Let's get to the Hellen Keller thing. This is annoying me. I've seen this more recently. This was a fad that happened a while ago.
Keller. Everybody
so it's
is
not quite as bad these days as it was at its height, which was like 2 years ago or so. But you still see this float around every once in a while, and it's the idea that Hellen Keller is fake, or that Hellen Keller was a prop used by Anne Sullivan in order to get across her political ideals. It's annoying! Nope, Hellen Keller's a real person who actually learned the sign despite being blind and deaf. Very impressive, very interesting. Apparently some people just don't believe it. Bittergrin with a link. Give me 1 sec to check this out.
I'm Hellen Keller.
You mean the Hellen Keller who fought deafness and blindness?
Is this the anime from that cult?
Are you uncomfortable seeing a talkative Hellen who can see and hear, Yuko?
No.
That was all planned before I was born. Angels sometimes do things like that.
It was a prank. It's a social experiment. Here's a car that someone had. Hellen Keller was not, I can't read the next part, but I think it says real. Hellen Keller was not real. Hellen Keller is a fraud. A bunch of Hellen Keller decals. This person cares deeply about the fact that they don't think Hellen Keller was real. Anyway, here's Owen Benjamin talking about it. He's awful. He's just awful.
It's like, oh, Helen Keller, what a brave deaf and blind woman who never could hear, or she has a British accent. She's like, I'm here today to talk. How the hell does she have a British accent?
Maybe she's like Madonna. She just puts it on to feel fun and exotic.
She's never heard a spoken word, and she's from Alabama. She's a British actress.
To be clear, Hellen Keller was not born deaf and blind. She got sick as a child. So she was not born without ever hearing anyone. Hellen Keller not only could hear and see, but was actually starting to talk already when she got sick and then became blind and deaf. That's one of the reasons that she was capable of redeveloping those skills, because early in life she was lucky enough that she had started developing those skills and centers of the brain prior to actually going blind and deaf. Okay.
Maybe
So it's
she's
like Helen
classy.
Keller wasn't really deaf. She was like,
She was. I apologize for all of him.
hello, today. And it's all global as shit. It's like Helen Keller, a woman who couldn't see or hear, had strong opinions on socialism, women getting the right to vote, eugenics.
Apparently, Owen is against women having the right to vote, saying this to a woman. Great. Did I see Dad of the Year? I don't know what this is. Let me see. Oh, Trump skips Barron graduation for a Minnesota event. I did see that. Predictable. Radiology says, I've never heard of her before. This might need explanation for your international audience. Oh, so in the United States, there's a famous person named Hellen Keller who lived in, what was it? She was a kid in like the late 19th century, something like that. She went blind and deaf, and then a teacher, Anne Sullivan, came and was able to teach her sign language. Now, she was also blind, so it was sign language via touch. Sorry, I don't know sign. Or at least not much. But, it just became a very famous story. She learned and wrote books as she got older because once she figured out language again, learned about books, wrote about socialism and like government programs and how they're good and wonderful. Yeah. So she's just a very famous historical figure for overcoming what was thought at the time to be an impossibility, that she would ever be able to communicate with others because she was blind and deaf. There are multiple movies based off of the story.
Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she was
yeah, Miracle Worker is the name of the movies typically.
And I know people say that's crazy, but you tell me how a deaf person who's never heard anyone talk,
She did hear people talk. Again, she went deaf. She went deaf. She was not born deaf.
British accent.
I don't know why he's saying British accent. I'm assuming he's just hearing her speak and thinks it sounds vaguely British, so he's assuming that because Owen Benjamin is a big piece of shit who's overconfident, and not so fun fact, he's a Holocaust denier, so he can go fuck himself.
Maybe maybe I'm blaming Madonna for this one.
Yeah. No, I know.
Oh, wow, you already made that joke. She's also not funny. Right.
Get it? Like,
if he doesn't laugh at the first joke, tell the same joke a second time. Don't know where the cap went.
Donna's probably why the world's a ball too.
Do you like being banned?
No. I missed the camaraderie and I felt really alone. But now I'm fine with it.
Yeah, he's a flat earther.
Because I'm not banned on my own platforms.
Yeah.
So and I've helped create a giant thriving community. Like now there's we have our own magazine, the Bertari Times. It's like a 50,000 word magazine we do quarterly. And
wow, a magazine. That's very up to date. Maybe one day you'll get a web page even.
Does anyone know HTML? The support is awesome. And because a lot of people felt like I did. A lot of normal people. I may be.
You're not a normal person, Owen. You're an anti-Semitic piece of crap. You're a Holocaust-denying, flat earth-believing, misogynistic piece of shit. The fact that these people think they're normal, whatever normal even means, they're certainly not normative. They're certainly not within the center of a bell curve.
Fringe, but I don't appeal necessarily to like fringe. Like a lot of normal people are like, dude, how
fucked is his Overton window that he thinks that the people that come to him and say, yeah, you got a point about insert terrible belief here, he thinks those are normal people? Yikes.
Also looked out that window and that shit doesn't look round, man. It's like, and everyone thinks I'm fucking crazy. They're like, dude, 9/11. He's like, dude, how did building 7 just
9/11 out of nowhere on the bingo card
fall down? Like, isn't that kind of, like she'll like,
when buildings collapse on top of you, kind of difficult to stay up.
That
it was really old, Owen.
What's that?
It was really old.
Yeah, it's just it's the only 3 times in human history that steel frame buildings just fell down from fire was all on the same day. And I don't care. I swear to God, I don't care. I'm not looking.
Planes don't intentionally fly into skyscrapers all that often, believe it or not. Kind of a rare occurrence.
At the conspiracy, I'm just like, obviously it isn't what we're told. And the good news is it's far more beautiful. It doesn't matter. It doesn't the spells they do don't matter. The science, constant reinforcement. And people always say, why would they lie? Why would they lie about space? It's because they want you to feel small.
Will I be covering the PP Show Atlanta thing tonight? I'm going to check it out on my own, and then tomorrow, if it's interesting enough, we'll cover it on a meme stock thing. I can't imagine, famous last words, I can't imagine Pulpe's event tonight will be half as funny as the last one, right? Like, that one was hilarious. There's no way. They did say they're going to have, Vivek Ramaswamy there, though. That'll probably be pretty cringe. I'm good. How are you, Bullet Bill?
Make a slave. They want you to, like, my dad teaches rhetoric, mass communication, public speech. Like, basically, he's like a Hogwarts wizard.
Did you know that being in communications makes you a wizard?
And
you're a communications major, Harry.
Okay, if you live on a non-moving area with like potentially God above and all that, you're a lot more empowered. If you're spinning in endless blackness, you're not. That's literally what you would do to a child if you were abusing them. You'd say, you're spinning out of control in infinite blackness. An asteroid can hit you anytime. You're all going to...
So it's fear. The fear of control. The fear of centrality. The fear of not being the special child of an all-powerful being makes him really, really feel bad, so he rejects reality in favor of flat Earth, because to him, that's comforting.
Die, nothing
That's unfortunate mental gymnastics. Not uncommon, though.
Matters. And when you pray, no one can hear you. Because it's a void. There's no air. And so that's a way to psychologically break someone. You know,
yeah,
and so
like every time you stream, it's like the numbers that come up, the people watching, like that's not real. The comments you see, those aren't real people. Those are bots. Like nothing that we say.
Wow, she's full in on dead internet theory. Wow, don't hear that one a lot, especially from people doing shows on the internet. You're all the best bots on the whole internet chat. I'll have you know, out of all of the dead internet bots, you're my favorites.
Say is hitting anybody. Like this is
right.
You know what I mean? You could be a robot. I could be a robot. Like I was just talking about this earlier this morning. The idea that they're
Amber says, I'll also point out that prior to meeting Sullivan, Keller practiced what linguists call home signing, a kind of very rudimentary sign language that's developed by trial and error through repeated trial and error. It won't get you very far because you can't really teach it to people. A child just internalizes, if I do Y, they bring me X, and it goes from there. People need to communicate or they will find a way. Yeah. Oh, for those who don't know, the dead internet conspiracy is a conspiracy theory that nothing on the internet is real and every message and video you see is made by bots. So like if you go on Reddit or Tumblr or wherever, people who believe the dead internet theory think everyone they see on the internet's a bot and fake. And it's all exists only to manufacture consent. Radiology says, I am dead inside. Welcome to the club.
exists like OnlyFans girls can
I'm joking.
hire
I'm actually doing well.
People to answer
radiology.
Their comments for them. And that was the whole idea of why OnlyFans was special, is like the connection with the fans. And I'm like, for $13 an hour, Rapesh can answer your OnlyFans messages. And I was just like, what?
Funny.
This is like, and it could be such a distraction.
Dude, Rapesh is like a real dirty boy.
Rapesh knows all your kinks.
I'm going to start one of those pages, but it's just going to be me rating your DVD collection.
He does. He's like, that is very cool. I'm so glad
I'm going to be very insulting.
Hear that you are having a good time with your penis.
I am so sorry that your marriage is falling apart.
Bittergrin says, but wouldn't they have heard about that theory on the internet? You'd think.
What would you like me to put in your butt?
Being racist. Cool.
All right, I'm going to share this.
Jay Rodimus, thanks for a 3-stream streak, says, so the Minecraft videos I made when I was 12 were actually made by bots? Sorry you had to learn you're a bot this way.
Little clip of Hellen Keller. Let's see. I guess this is Hellen Keller sounding weird. Okay. Hellen Keller. Oh, wait, is there a particular minute mark? She speaks
by the way,
it's
just when she first starts talking up here, you'll see.
So
right there, like right there.
It gets weird at the 147 mark, so I'll start playing at 39.
Since she was
it's
a baby, she's
it's
not
all fraud.
spoken nor seen lips forming one. But let Helen with Polly's help tell you. It is not blind.
They're literally just laughing at her speaking, and of course she's going to sound different because she can't hear what she's saying. He's doing it via feeling, but he's literally just gonna mock it because he's a big piece of shit.
It is not blindness or deafness that brings my dark
is not.
stars. It is the
So yeah, the Helen Keller people piss me off. The Helen Keller conspiracy people are scum. Genuinely scum. Not a fan. What else? Ooh, you know who we should check in on? You know who.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 3-3. No, 4-3. 23.
Wrong year. This is from recent. He just gets the date wrong. It's the year wrong.
Lots of threes.
Radiology says, if these people think I'm a bot, will they leave me alone? Because that's a deal I could live with.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Today's a Friday. I like to give you something to think about on a Friday, just in case if I'm unable to put a video out this weekend. I want to give you a couple things. One, of course, there's no way of not talking about this ridiculous protest, which, by the way, has now come into my neck of the woods, SUNY Purchase, which is just great, you know. Okay, so I always tell you these people are paid. Okay. The people that are paid are the instigators. Okay. I'm kind of an instigator. I don't get paid for it, but I instigate people. People call me annoying. You know, because I'm telling the truth. Back to
I feel like the person who calls him annoying is his wife, because I don't know who else would do that.
what I was talking about. The instigators get the people
Thanks, Amber, for the link.
that are just mindless in these Ivy League colleges. And they don't know really where they're going in life. You know, their parents stuck them in there, pulled some strings, pay their $95,000 semester tuition, which is just absolutely outrageous. And they just kind of fumble around, you know, get their degree eventually, and there you go. Indoctrinated for life. Never coming back from that. Okay? But the instigators are probably paid through Soros. And the people that are following the instigators, they're just lost. You know, I have a solution though.
We'll call that PSYOP on the bingo card.
For the children, and I like to call them children.
I mean, most people are children compared to you. That tracks.
Who are setting up these tents in front of these colleges. Why don't you can kill two birds with one stone? Why don't you get the illegals that have no
God, he just gets worse every day.
housing, put them in the tents with the college students, okay? I think that'll work out great. They have a place to live. The college kids will be secure because nobody seems to touch these illegals. They pretty much let them do whatever they want. We're giving them all the fucking money in the world. And
what delusional world does he live in where he thinks either asylum seekers or undocumented immigrants just get tons of money? If you're an asylum seeker, you might get a small sum to help you out at first. But, like, you're fucked. What universe of delusion does CC live in where he thinks that it's easy to come into a country with nothing and then just receive a bunch of free shit on a consistent basis? Just the brain rot. The conservative brain rot.
they're not helping anybody here in the country, but we're giving them debit cards, we're giving them all sorts of good treats. A goodie bag, I like to call. And it's always nice to see this, that these great politicians that have been voted in there are now, you know, turning against the Americans, the people that live in this country, that are citizens of this country. Okay? That's how bad politics are. And it's always been that way, but it's never been this bad. Because they have all of the boards set up. They had this set up all the way back to the Obama administration. See, this is what I don't want to get. I don't want to get into this bullshit. But how could you not? How could you
Obama on the bingo card.
Not avoid it, okay? I mean, it just goes on and on and on. On and on and on. This bullshit. This nonsense. Okay. Norwalk, Connecticut. I'll give you a little something to think about. We just had one bridge was already destroyed. I think they're still fixing it, or maybe it's already fixed. I don't know. I haven't kept up with it. Is it fixed? That last bridge that the barge mysteriously
No, that's going to take some years to build.
destroyed the bridge.
Wasn't mysterious. We saw it happen. Power failure on the ship. It couldn't stop. It drifted into the bridge.
Right, I'm sure. Now we have another bridge that was just destroyed just the other day in Norwalk, Connecticut. A good friend of mine lives in that area. It managed, this is what happened. Apparently it was just a driving along, managed to hit something, and all of a sudden the oil tanker ignited right at the same time that it was on the bridge. Wow, isn't that a coincidence? Oh,
I mean, it sucks. Yeah, that's not good.
There goes the bridge. Bye-bye. You see, the problem with the bridge in Norwalk is that's a big corridor. A lot of trucks use it. For the last couple of weeks, this happened, I believe it was the day before yesterday. And I noticed an influx of trucks yesterday in the afternoon, where like for every 4 cars, there was an 18-wheeler. Okay, it was just...
You're paying attention to the ratio of trucks to cars?
I was like, what the fuck is going on? Now I know. I don't really watch the news, so that's probably why. So they answered my question. Now I know they're using the highways that I used to commute with now to go around this, and it's a major screw up for them. It tacks on an extra 45 minutes to get to the...
Man, maybe having all of our infrastructure centered around land-based car vehicles instead of rail and other local public transit was like a nightmare of a decision.
Their destination in Connecticut. But what are you going to do? You know, another, I don't know what you want to call them. I know Mark Sargent likes to call them ninjas. Perhaps. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? I'm sure it is. It's got to be. These things can't just happen coincidentally because there are no coincidences in life.
There are tons of coincidences. There are coincidences all the time. Doesn't know what a coincidence is on the bingo card.
It happens for a reason. Okay?
They don't. Nope. Not everything. Most things don't happen for a reason. Everything happens because of a cause. Most things don't happen because of a reason. Things just happen.
They like to
Things happen as consequences of things, not because people plan them most of the time.
With us. That's all. They like to fuck with us. They like to fuck with us in every way they could possibly imagine. And they're going to continue doing it and continue just keeping you confused, keeping you in the closet, keeping you thinking about other shit and not flat Earth. Okay? They don't seem to touch flat Earth on the internet, but everything else that we bring up, we can't talk about it.
I mean, flat Earth doesn't get... He used to complain that flat Earth is getting censored, but he seems to be claiming now that it isn't, and probably part of the reason is it's just not in vogue. We still cover it, because it's an interesting conspiratorial community, but, I don't know, not as popular as it used to be. It had its heyday back in, like, 2017. Kind of been downhill since.
So all these citizens of New York State 3 years ago lost their jobs over something that they didn't want to get.
Maybe you should have gotten vaccinated, Chris. Maybe they should have gotten vaccines. Maybe. Think about it.
Thousands of citizens lost their jobs.
Thousands out of the millions of people living in New York? Like, that's actually really not that many at all, is it?
In New York.
Those thousands of people were probably, if I had to guess, not the best at their jobs anyway. If you're the kind of person who thinks that vaccines are evil, I'm gonna guess that correlates with not being very good at your job. That's based entirely off of how angry I get at anti-vaxxers, not based in reality. That's my personal grievance. Paladin's Fury, thanks for 25 months, says, almost there to sub-baby triplets. Hell yeah.
State. Okay? Because of something they shouldn't get. Now let that sink in for a minute. Okay? They took a choice, and they lost their jobs. We're giving...
Random science question, if all time zones converge at the North Pole, and it means that you would have to look less far time zones, what time is it at the North Pole? Because you'll reach a point where all time zones converge. I don't know. Probably arbitrary, whatever the... I would guess the actual answer is the time zone of whatever the nearest, like, livable place is to the North Pole. Just for convenience reasons. I genuinely don't know, though.
Money to the illegals who are not vaccinated, not tested, no background check.
Chris, you don't even think vaccines are good, so why would you care? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. And also, I'd hope they offer vaccines to people. That'd be great. Do that.
Nothing. Because the politicians want the illegals in here. They think they're going to vote for them.
Hey, fun fact. Undocumented immigrants can't vote, dipshit. Anytime Republicans say this, I just want to bang my head against the wall. You can't vote unless you're a citizen. You cannot vote unless you are a citizen, you stupid asshole. You are so dumb. You are so dumb, I hate you.
I would say 85% of them are criminals. See what
85%? He's just pulling racist numbers out of his asshole. I'm just gonna assume the vast majority are criminals for no reason. Fuck you, Chris, you piece of shit.
doing in other countries, and this isn't just down south, this is all over the world. Okay? Notice any new faces in your neighborhood? I bet you do.
God, he's so fucking xenophobic. He's such a piece of shit. No wonder his wife hates him.
I can't believe I'm here to see this. I really cannot. And when I talk to people and they tell me they have money problems and Gen Zers have money problems and all that bullshit, I just turn over to them and said, you created this.
Yes,
you hated
Gen Z, who has the most institutional power of all, clearly created the circumstances of their current situation.
You voted this guy in, and everything is all fucked up.
What do you think the president's ability to change commerce is? Like, specifically, what do you think the president should do to make the economy good suddenly, unilaterally, Chris? Give me one thing. Give me one thing, you stupid bitch!
Because after Trump left, the checkerboard was already set.
No, Flat Earth made him like this. I've talked about this before, and someone else pointed out something fair to me, which is, I think this started as a utility thing for Chris. He felt insecure about his own intelligence, he felt unimportant, and he adopted Flat Earth as a way to feel smart and important. And over time, in order to maintain that feeling of being smart and important, he had to incorporate more and more conspiracy theories, which, on the surface, might make him feel smart that he figured something out or knows a big secret, but it's also devastating to his well-being because the belief that everyone is lying to you all the time and there are forces nefariously working against you at all times is also incredibly demoralizing and stressful. So on the one hand, he has this maladaptive coping mechanism where he's trying to make himself feel better than everyone, self-aggrandizing, and on the other hand, that belief also puts him in this state where he is constantly persecuted by a force bigger than himself that he will never understand. It's really fucked up. He's basically put himself in his own mental prison. It's really sad. Hydrate.
You know,
that the CC arc or the Hans arc, that's a lot of conspiracy arcs.
Cleaned a lot of it up, don't get me wrong, but it was already there. The politicians were already in place. Okay, all right, all they needed to do was get Biden in, have him sign all this nonsense, and everything goes to shit. Every city in the country, every oil rig, everything goes to shit in such a short period of time.
Correlation isn't causation on the bingo card? Do you think the oil rig, whatever you're even talking about, heard Biden got elected and decided to break? What?
How do you think things went to shit so quickly in such a short period of time?
Rachology says, would be interesting to do a Chris-focused stream where you look at his videos over the last few years and we can watch his deterioration over time. I imagine trawling through the hours of his backlog would be a hell of a task. Probably, but I could do it. I find it funny that he's like, how did things go to shit so quickly, when in reality what happened was he probably spends all his time watching Fox News or other right-wing media, and when a Republican is the president, they talk about how great the economy is, regardless of the conditions, and when things are under a Democrat, they talk about how bad things are. So it's not that things necessarily actually got materially worse for Chris. It's just that the messaging he is receiving is that everything is bad. Everything is doomed. You know what I mean? Irrespective of the actual conditions. And to be clear, I'm not saying things are great right now. I understand that corporate greed and a lot of other factors have led to prices going up, and people are struggling. I am myself. Believe me, I get it. But I also recognize that that's a global problem. It was not created by Biden, nor is it something he could somehow unilaterally fix. So.
Because it was already set and ready to go.
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, if everything is a conspiracy to cover up Flat Earth, then nothing is a conspiracy.
Just had to
I'm not sure if that one checks out.
Flip the switch. And that's what they did.
He does have good hair.
You think this happened over... No. This was already planned 10 years ago. This doesn't just happen overnight, you know? Of course, when you, like I've always said, once you fuck with the fuel, pretty much everything goes up. Such bullshit. Planet. I want you to think about a planet. I want you to think of how a planet is formed.
Okay.
Which nobody's ever seen how it's formed.
What are you talking about?
Out of all of the stars that are up there, we can't seem to manage to get a picture of an actual...
They see them, they kind of use something, let me put this. You can't see one planet forming because it takes place over a long period of times, but what you can do is look at different planets as they're forming at different stages and then put it together in a timeline. So yes, we do see that. It's like pseudo time.
Actual formation of a planet. We'll get drawings. We'll get artists that think this is what it should look like.
What does Chris think telescopes are for? Like, does he not understand that, like, the James Webb telescope, as well as the telescopes that preceded it, are literally there to take readings, to look at stuff like this? Like, the telescopes, the visual stuff is, like, fun, but it's mostly taking readings and stuff that they can do math on to actually come up with models of how things work. He does think space is fake. That's the point he's trying to make. Razor Girl Luna with 100 bits says, hooray, alt universe Jay Leno. Also, is the Ploot party happening today? People keep asking. I wasn't planning on it. I was gonna probably cover it tomorrow to see how it went, but I don't know. Maybe we'll catch a little bit at the end of this stream and see how it goes.
But we don't actually get anything that's real.
I think the party is tonight, though. I'm not sure what time. I can actually look. Hold on. It's probably on the PP Show channel. Look, I'm live. Oh my god, it's live right now. They're doing the helicopter thing again. You ass. They're doing the stupid helicopter thing again. They're gonna land it right there. God damn it. Oh, that's copyrighted music. Do they know they're not supposed to play copyrighted music on a live stream? I don't know if they know that. We'll keep an eye on the Ploot party.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing it again in Atlanta this time at another airplane hangar.
Nothing. So when you're learning in school how a planet is formed and how gravity is formed and how it's this just crazy dust that collects and then gravity mysteriously appears and...
Not mysteriously, and it doesn't appear. Gravity is a constant. Gravity is a force that exists in all matter. As long as it has, like, mass, it has gravity. It's just an intrinsic property of matter. Benekagami says, the immigration thing is funny because Moist Critical's currently suing U.S. immigration because they seem to have corruptly screwed his esports team. I heard about this. He found out that immigration is not liable for any crime they commit, so even if he wins, the most that'll happen is their decision will be overturned. No one will be fired, no money will be given to him. The corruption of immigration is starting to be known mainstream now. I hope things change. I really do. Overthought says, no flyer hangers! No flyer hangers! Solid reference. Hydrate. I love that movie.
child once. I was a child all the way up until my late around and does all this shit, and then all of a sudden you get this rocky planet in the middle of
Not always. There are gas giants. There are ice giants.
nowhere because of all the dust that it's surrounding, because of the explosion of something in the middle that's now a sun. All of it's bullshit. There's no evidence, there's no proof, there's nothing. There's just speculation.
Plenty of evidence. There's mountains and mountains of evidence and math, Chris. You just don't know it and haven't seen it because you haven't taken the time to investigate it, and even if you did, you wouldn't understand it because you're not an astrophysicist. I wouldn't understand it either. That's kind of how we work as a species. We compartmentalize. We all have different specialized tasks. Somehow I got assigned to watching Chris. So I'm in hell.
Well, I think they do have the math for it. But is there a math that actually can create a planet? I'd like to see that.
Is there a math that can create a planet? Yes, you could mathematically describe the gravity that occurs to cause things to come together and snowball into a planet. I'm sure that exists. How's the Pulte rally going? No helicopter yet. I'm telling you, he's gonna do the helicopter thing again, and it's gonna be so embarrassing. It's even more embarrassing the second time.
I would like to see the mathematical computations of how they manage to create a planet. Tell me, please. Because they don't think Mother Nature did it, of course. All right, this is just...
Does he think that people think that Mother Nature is a real thing? I'm sure there are some people that do, that believe in kind of woo-woo spiritual stuff, but like, broadly speaking, Mother Nature is a metaphor, not a literal thing. Like, most people do not consider that a literal thing. It's a metaphorical concept, like Father Time. Like, it's not real. It's a thing. It's a representation of a concept.
It's something that happens.
Physics, Chris. It's called physics. Things just happen most of the time. That's how most things happen, is they just do. It's things knocking into each other. It's a big galactic pool game.
You're all an accident. You all came from monkeys.
I am very, very excited for Doctor Who. No joke. I'm super thrilled. I don't know anything about the episodes other than the titles, but I'm gonna say Space Babies sounds exciting because the name sounds fun. Doctor Who, the new season of Doctor Who premieres this, or is it next week? Whenever it is. Soon.
That's right. That's right. The solar system was a little dust cloud. Children believe this. It's a fairy tale. Fairy tales for children. And children come in all ages. I was a child once.
Is it
I was a
Sunday?
child
I thought it was
all
Friday.
the way up until my late 30s. Until I figured out that the earth is flat. I mean, this holds true with everything. Everything that we've learned. We only dug down 8 miles. 8 miles. This is an open and book. This is like a close. Just the mere fact that we have this should wake people up and say, wait a minute, what are all those diagrams of Earth? What do they think they have a seismogram that goes down 14,000 miles? And we have one on Mars too? Sure, we do. I think we also have one on Uranus. And there's nothing. You're given pictures. You're given a diagram. You're giving layers and layers. You know, when they dug down 8.5 miles, they were wrong every single time. Every time they were wrong. Okay, well, I think we're going to hit granite right now. Wrong. I think we were going to hit some hard rocky substance. Wrong. And then finally, it hit a barrier where nothing could go past it.
Again, he's just getting the story completely wrong. They didn't hit a barrier. Their drills couldn't handle the heat at that depth because the pressure and heat got so much their equipment was breaking down. It wasn't a barrier. He just remembers things wrong because it's more mysterious and magical to his brain.
I thought the molten lava that they say...
Wait, did you say molted lava? Do you think the lava just shed its skin because it's in a growth phase?
Our core of the Earth is located, I don't know, many thousands of miles down. Not
Chris, again, there's pressure and heat even when there isn't liquid hot magma.
8.5 miles. So if there's molten lava 8.5 miles down,
He is saying malted he's either saying malted or molted instead of molten. He thinks I don't think he knows what molten lava is.
and where, so it's just, you go 8.5 miles and it's all lava? No, it doesn't make any sense.
He didn't say it
because
was
it's not
lava.
true. It's not true at all. It's all bullshit. Okay? It's all of it. All of it. Everything. The TV is bullshit. The movies are bullshit.
I mean, yeah, movies are fiction, broadly speaking. I would agree.
Every single movie has a globe in it somewhere. Somewhere.
That's objectively untrue. Hold on, give me a second. I can figure this out. I gotta find a movie that has 0 globes in it, so it can't be a Universal film. All Universal films are out of the question. Let's assume we can have Earth. We can even have Earth. He's talking about a globe, right? That's gotta be most movies. Most movies don't have a globe. This is sci-fi, so that doesn't help. These are sci-fi. That doesn't help. Fuck it, I'm calling my shot. Halloween 2. I bet Halloween 2 doesn't have any globes in it. 0. Does the hospital have a globe? Probably not. I was gonna say Halloween, but there is a scene in a classroom in Halloween where they're talking about fate. It's a setup thematically, because Laurie's in the classroom talking about fate and what fate is. And she sees Michael Myers out the window. It's thematically appropriate for the story they're telling. Anyway, there's a classroom. So, Halloween 2. I'm gonna say Halloween 2. The witch one, Halloween 3 is Season of the Witch. And that one might have a globe in it. They do have an evil global plan to sacrifice children using Halloween masks. I spend a lot of my brain power on things that just do not matter.
Somewhere there's a globe. Unless if you're learning about frogs or you're watching
Melancholia. I'd say that counts. It's a second globe.
a documentary about alligators or something like that in the woods.
I'm sorry, did you just say alligators in the woods? Alligators don't usually live in deciduous forests.
But every movie...
actually, ugh.
Every movie
I'm
that
the
you
worst.
see. And everything. I mean, just look at the movies now. Look at Hollywood now. Hollywood has nowhere to go.
Honestly, that's fine. Movies will continue. There's a rich global cinema community. Look outside of just Hollywood. The decentralization of the film industry would be a wonderful, wonderful thing. Hollywood has created a lot of monsters. So maybe some decentralization of power wouldn't be a bad thing. Just a thought. Razor Girl Luna says, speaking of pressure, if Sneery McSneerface gets up his butt any further, he's going to become a singularity.
They don't know what to do anymore. They're coming out with sequels after sequels after sequels, and nothing at all is new. It's all bullshit.
Broadly, I don't disagree. That's an economic incentive problem. So I'm going to say doesn't understand the problem is capitalism on the bingo card. Rageology says if it makes you happy, then it's not worthless. At least that's what I tell myself to justify my knowledge of now defunct 90s Doctor Who lore. See, I think that's cool. I think that's a cool thing to know.
When are they going to do Frozen again? You know, when...
Soon, actually. They are doing a live-action version of Frozen, unironically. They're doing live-action Moana, and then they're doing live-action Frozen at some point. It's recursive.
When's the next one coming?
I'm glad I sold my Disney stock years ago. Jesus Christ.
Out. I mean, you know, sure, I know they found a glitch and they're trying to make as much money out of it, but it goes on and on and on. And we're not talking 5 years here. We're talking 30 years of bullshit. We're talking The Terminator. 30 years of bullshit with that movie. T3. I didn't see it. I was going to go see it. I still haven't seen it.
You're fine. You don't need to see. Honestly, I don't think T3 is as bad as people make it out to be, but that also might be because I really, really hate Genesis and Salvation. So maybe the curve just got fucked up for me. I still haven't seen Terminator, Dark Fate, which I heard was actually okay. But I don't know. I'd watch 3. Not good. I've seen worse Terminator sequels. Pterodona says, you totally called it. Chopper landing now. No fucking way. Why am I always right about Pulte? He's so— oh, you motherfuckers did the goddamn— you did the fucking helicopter! You did the goddamn helicopter again! It wasn't impressive the first time. It wasn't impressive the first time. Oh, there's Vivek. Yeah, we'll be watching that tomorrow, probably.
Busy. I'll see it eventually. But it's like, you know, they have no imagination. And when they're looking to distract us, they don't have any imagination with that either anymore. You know? They can't come up with a fake UFO invasion. They can't come up with
Project Bluebeam on the bingo card for the fake UFO invasion.
Another...
because that's what that is. After this video, we'll take a look at the bingo card, by the way.
moon landing or a Mars landing or anything like that. It just keeps getting kicked down the road. For so many decades now. So many decades. It's been kicked down the road. That doesn't wake anybody up at all. I guess it doesn't. You know, they'll just come at...
Bitterin says the helicopter wasn't impressive to us because we looked up how cheap the rental is. I'm sure it's amazing to meme stock people.
Us with stupid computations of how there is a curvature and how you can see shadows and all this other nonsense, and how the constellations aren't the same here when they're...
He's literally just yada yada yada-ing all the evidence that he's wrong. He's just like, oh, you know, there's all this... That's the stuff that shows you're wrong, Chris. That's important. Pay attention to that stuff. That's key. Will be important for later.
Not the same over there, and that's simple to debunk. Just go into a fucking room, put a goddamn fucking...
thunder.
Stars up.
Seems like it's gonna storm. If something cuts off suddenly, it's because my power went off.
In the fucking sky.
Haven't had that issue, so probably fine.
There, and that's simple to debunk. Just go into a fucking room, put a goddamn fucking stars up in the fucking sky, and you're gonna see in one area it looks a little different, and in that area you're seeing the reverse. Wow, there you go. That's the sky for you. That's the fake stars up there for you. I mean, everything we've debunked. Everything.
He's debunked everything. Everyone blips out of existence. Best Demon says, I wonder what CC would think about Plan 9 from outer space. The events such of this will affect you in the future. You'd say it's predictive programming, probably.
And they just still keep going at it, so which leads me to believe that they're paid. You know, I mean, who has all this time on their hands? I barely have enough time to put out 5 or 6 videos a month. It's ridiculous. Christos Anesti. Arios Anesti. These are for my Greek friends. Happy Easter.
Yeah, the title of this video was Happy Greek Easter Weekend. So this 15-minute video that was just him being mad about stuff was supposed to be his Easter for Greek Orthodox video. He's doing great. So let's see what's on the bingo card so far. We have misunderstanding of the scientific method. Doesn't know what a coincidence is. Scientism? Oh shit, didn't mean to do that. PSYOP? Yes, we do have Hannah Mentions Blu-rays. 9/11 out of nowhere. Clinton's, Biden's, Obama's. Hannah mentions Blu-rays. My research said by a non-researcher. Correlation isn't causation. Doesn't understand their problem is capitalism. Project Bluebeam. Flat Earth. Is that it? I want to say that's maybe it. Wait, what was 57? Sky is fake? You're right. He does do the sky is fake. Okay. I think that catches us up. Soros was referenced. That's fair. Thinly veiled anti-Semitism. Let's see where that is. There we go. Glitch back to the main screen. Hello. Let's see what we're going to watch next. Oh no! I didn't put this in the title, and maybe I should have. Oh. The Neanderthal
at age
channelers.
76 from cancer in 2000.
The Neanderthal channelers are back. Can you guess who they're channeling this time, chat? Can you guess who the psychic mediums who channeled a Neanderthal are channeling this time? And it's gonna be pain. It's gonna be pain. It's gonna be pain. Phoenix Leftist, thank you so much for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. That is so appreciated. Anyone gifting subs, you're the fucking best. Appreciate it. Trying to get to 500 subs this month. So I appreciate any gifts. Bubble Homestead says, love the new layout. Do you have a Be Kind Rewind end screen? No, but that's a good idea. I like that. RFK Jr., he's alive. It has to be someone dead. Alright, let's watch it. This is gonna hurt. Brace your buttholes. Let's put it this way. Too soon.
Hello, beautiful people, and I am so over the top excited about having Veronica Drake here. Her information is in the description box, but we'll also put something on a splash screen so all you guys can find out more about her. Most of you guys know Miss V. She is wonderful, and she is going to, with Eric, have an interview with us for O.J. Simpson.
Oh, the way she said that was unfortunate. Thank you, Vest Demon, for 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you for more subs. Again, always appreciate the gifts. They help out the channel a lot. They are claiming they're going to channel the ghost of O.J. Simpson. Now, this was quite difficult because they did have to chase him down the highway to hell in a ghostly Bronco, but they caught him, and here's the interview.
Orenthal. I can't remember the last, the middle name, but we also first
James Orenthal James Simpson
want to start out with Veronica.
Does this count as blackface? Yeah, probably.
Explaining some of the things that she has.
We'll call it spiritual blackface.
And then we'll get to OJ. OJ, wait in line. Hi, Eric. I love you.
I love you too, Mom. And Eric has never left my side, I have to tell you. The peeps love Eric, and Eric loves the peeps. So I am working with business women, but I'm also working with everybody. I'm still doing readings, which we incorporated back in, and I'm helping women build their business, spiritually inclined women who are a little bit woo, who just want to have a business. And I have a...
Are they using the term woo as a term of endearment now? Don't take that from me. Don't take woo. Woo is a bad thing. Don't be proud of believing in woo.
Very successful model that I'm teaching and sharing. And yeah, so Veronica Drake, you can find everything out there. I have a brand new website. It's beautiful.
Oh, awesome. That's wonderful. You know, and also, guys, we have on the Atlantic Scalar side a new tab. You click on it, it's the team. And it has all the information about people like our beautiful Veronica and all the links to all those services, including the business coaching, life coaching for women. So check it out. The team. All right. Now let me tell you a little bit about OJ, in case you guys don't know.
Oh, this is gonna be great. I can't wait for these these women to give a very detailed and real discussion with O.J. Simpson, recent ghost.
Living under a rock for a long time, if you don't. He was an American football player and actor. His professional success was overshadowed by his trial and controversial acquittal for the murders of his former wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend Ron Goldman in 1994, killed in Los
Are
Angeles.
we gonna get Nicole in on this interview? Is this just gonna be OJ? Because I feel like if there's any time for a round table interview, this is our first opportunity now, isn't it?
On the night of June 12th, 84. In 2007, Simpson was arrested in Las Vegas, Nevada, charged with armed robbery and kidnapping. In 2008, he was convicted and sentenced to 33 years imprisonment with a minimum of 9 years without parole. Wow. He served his sentences at the Lovelock Correctional Center in rural Nevada. I didn't know that. Until being paroled and released 2017. He was released from parole in 2021 and lived in freedom until his death at age 76 from cancer in 2024. So, do you have OJ there?
I do. And the first thing he wants to do is correct that it was June of 94.
Oh,
oh, that's the first thing you bring up as OJ Simpson's goes, actually, you got the year wrong, ma'am. Okay, let's correct the record on that first.
Okay. Killed Los Angeles the night of June 12th, 1994.
Okay.
I probably said it wrong. Have you crossed over, OJ?
He says, I have. He's very reticent. He's very,
What's the temperature where you are, OJ? Would you say it's like a temperate 75 or like a quite warm 3,000 degrees or so? Just trying to get a vibe on where you ended up.
I'll say standoffish.
Okay. Well,
he's a standoffish ghost. That makes sense.
Some of these questions might be difficult, but we don't want to exploit. This is not supposed to be for exploitation purposes.
Yeah. Definitely. This isn't exploitative at all to the victims or their families. This is fine, ladies. Live your dream. This is great. This is classy material. Rageology says, quick, someone get else to channel Jerry Springer and do this right.
To learn from your human experience. So hopefully we can all do that. If you have crossed over, you have. Are you ready to answer questions the CE community has for you?
I am transparent and I am ready.
I just want to point out, if and when I die, I won't. I'm immortal, obviously. If any one of these people claims they're channeling me, they're not. These are the last people in the universe I would want to talk to. I would rather talk to no one for eternity and hang out with other ghosts than talk to these people. I promise. Cloud Wizard says, did you know that not only does Bronco still exist, but it's going on sale soon? I didn't know that. Actually, you know what? I think I saw this on Pawn Stars. Because even though I own some of the greatest cinema in all human history, just an untapped well of entertainment and insight from the world's greatest creative minds. And sometimes I watch Pawn Stars.
Okay. Do you think getting cancer was a direct result of the karma attached to Nicole?
Well, that's certainly a question, just coming out and saying it, huh? Do you think you got cancer because you murdered someone, OJ? Boo boy.
And Ron's murder, OJ?
You wouldn't ask that if he was corporeal.
He says the short answer to that would be yes.
Now that I'm dead, I've decided now's the time for a full confession. Kind of a post-deathbed confession, if you will. Chicken Bit says, as someone rich people, and sometimes rich people eat junk food, just because you have access to the good stuff doesn't mean you always want it. I know, I was just making a joke.
And to go a little bit further with that, he said it's a lifelong payback. and the team also pay back.
A team payback? What? Nope, nopey, nope. Thanks for 21 months. Says, enjoy my Prime sub. I'm about to reach an end of my employment and will be getting rid of Prime to save money. We'll keep watching, just have to endure the ads. Well, thank you for your viewership, regardless. I appreciate it. Oh, we're on a hype train again. 37% to level 1. Nice.
What do you mean, the team?
Those that served me
Oh.
on the earthly plane, those who worked for my freedom.
Oh, I see. Like the
His
defense.
lawyers are also... Okay, sure, fine. Mr. Blast with 100 bits, thank you. Phoenix Leftist, thanks for gifting a sub. Invest Demon with 200 bits, thank you.
Lawyers and all that. A lot of them are dead.
Yes. He said that it was no surprise or no coincidence that they shared a common diagnosis.
Wow, interesting. So was this contract? You killing Nicole and well, did you kill them? Let's start with that.
He's very forthcoming with that, and he says the evidence speaks for itself, and I will say yes.
Okay. Was it a soul contract?
Soul contract. Ooh, that's definitely a thing. Nemesaur, thank you for 20 tier 1 subs, coming in absolutely insane with a ridiculous sub drop. Thank you so much. So many people are going to get to avoid ads now, which is incredible. But
It wasn't necessarily a soul contract that I take her life. It was a soul contract that we be in a combative relationship.
Oh.
The fact that I used my free will to take another human's life is on me.
Okay. So you personally killed these people. You did not hire someone, is that correct?
I did not.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what was the soul contract of you having a
what is their response? So you personally murdered them? Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. What's that response?
Bad kind of relationship with Nicole.
Crazy Bob didn't say the soul contract thing. It does sound like him.
I was supposed to learn tolerance and patience. And the truth is, my status got in the way.
Yeah.
I got a little bit over glorified with myself. I also was a very narcissistic, egotistical person. He goes on to say that people were possessions to him, not just Nicole.
This is literally just this, like, older Gen X woman's views on OJ that she's saying as if they're his.
Those around.
Don't get me wrong, I think OJ abso-fucking-lutely did it, obviously, but, like, I also wouldn't pretend to be his ghost confessing to the crimes. What are you doing, ladies? What is this benefiting you or anyone?
On his team, and he's referring to the team as being, he's doing the team as being anybody that was in his inner circle. Okay. He saw them as possessions and pawns, he's saying, in his game of life.
Yeah, fame, sometimes people use that to get off the hook of the human experience and taking accountability in their soul contracts.
Yeah, I'm glad she's not trying to do a voice either.
Looks like that's what happened with you.
It was a combination of the defense team using and mincing and mixing words, and I got very lucky. Well, can you call it luck? I was on the heels of a time where African Americans were in
no, please don't speak for no
uproar over what was happening in this country, and I got to ride those coattails.
Oh,
wow. God.
Now, have you met Ron and Nicole on the other side?
You know, we were at dinner the other night, and we were both at the same restaurant, and we locked eyes across the dining room, and I was in the smoking section. They got those up there. A lot of old people still smoking. It's fine. They don't have lungs. They're incorporeal. We locked eyes. It was really, really awkward. The worst part was I was wearing my dinner gloves, so I think that probably brought up some bad memories.
And how did that go, if you did?
Hannah regrets what she just said on the bingo card.
I have not met them like you would consider meeting someone in human terms. I am well aware of their frequency.
And still smoke in U.S. restaurants? No, in restaurants in hell or the afterlife or something. I don't know. I don't know what that bit was.
We are not connected officially.
Oh, fuck, Harold Elberman. That was the better joke. See, this is the thing with improv. Editing is the key.
Officially, and I will say yet.
Okay. What about your life review? Have you started that yet?
I have.
Are you still doing it?
I am, and it's a very humbling experience. He goes on to say, and it's really...
Okay, I am done with this, though. We get the gist. It's very offensive and fucked up that they're doing that. We will return to them if they do any interesting ones in the future, of course. More Neanderthals or things like that. What's the next thing I wanted to watch? We had a lot. We had a lot. Thank you for the hype train, everyone. Appreciate you. Water Tower. Do the Water Tower one. Is Chili still in prison? Not prison, jail. He is in jail. Yes. He will probably remain at least until July, likely a couple months beyond that.
Water towers don't hold water. Thought about them for years. I made another video about them years ago and I can't find it. I think YouTube erased it. I go back and forth between a lot of different ideas of what they're at.
So he doesn't think water towers hold water. For those who don't know what water towers actually do, like let's say during the day, like at lunchtime or right after lunch, a lot of people are going to the bathroom or a lot of people need water. Maybe there wouldn't be sufficient water pressure for that many people turning on faucets and stuff at once. So what you do to make sure there's consistent water pressure is at nighttime, when fewer people are using water, they pump a bunch of water and use energy to pump water up into the water tower. That way, during the daytime, when the usage is higher, they can release water selectively from the water tower, and the gravity helps keep the pressure, so there's water pressure enough for everyone, even though there's a lot more water usage than there typically would be. So water towers are not only useful, but necessary for municipal water supplies in order to keep the pressure up during high use periods. They're not there just to store water. They're there specifically for, like, pressure purposes during high usage hours. He doesn't think that, though. Radiology says, that reminds me, begging for bits rewards where for a high enough price we can overrule your better judgment and get you to say the joke you reconsider and stop halfway through. That's dangerous and not a good idea. I'm not smart. I know this much about a lot of things. It's broad, but it's not deep at all. You know that planet on Interstellar when it's all ocean, but it's only this deep? That's my knowledge on any given topic. I know enough to make conversation for 3 minutes. I gotta move on.
Actually doing with these things, it's not water. They'll need to hold water up in the air.
All of this knowledge was procured just so if I talk to anyone under any circumstances, I can vaguely have a conversation with them. Because talking to people is hard.
Maybe collecting atmospheric electricity.
I believe sci-fi technology exists on the bingo card. That's something a lot of the Tartaria people believe, is that there's some sort of energy just in the atmosphere, in the ether, which doesn't exist. That's a debunked scientific concept. But a lot of them believe in the ether, whatever, and they think that energy can be pulled from it.
And then store it into there, all the electrical. Like, what do they need all that for? If
I don't know about electrical equipment, I don't know specifically what that stuff does.
This isn't somehow.
But I don't think it's a big battery. I don't know. Also, I'm pretty sure those are cell phone towers. Those look like maybe 5G things. Just a guess. I don't think that's a lightning rod. I think those are 5G or some sort of communication thing.
Collecting atmospheric electricity. Thing's huge. But I'm open-minded to other ideas of what it could be, what these really are.
Except the actual explanation. Too simple. Have I covered Plute Fest today? I'm gonna watch it later, and then I think tomorrow we're gonna go over highlights. But no, I've not. I see Ramaswamy's on stage.
Facebook and Google and
Probably a shit show.
I mean, there's like vents on the side there. Go all the way up. Clearly get up top there. And then the obvious, those guys.
I knew that was going to happen to Vivek.
They're really big.
I don't think I don't think the broad Republican demographic was ever going to accept Vivek. He was always going to end up as a politician that narrowly rather appealed to like tech bros and libertarian types. I don't know. He just, I don't think, would appeal to the broader Republican base, because a lot of them are racist, if I'm being honest.
It's hard to tell.
The crypto bro stuff, for sure, is one thing that endears him to that crowd.
Those are probably, one on the left is probably 15 feet high. Collecting some sort of electric out of the air. Let's see what this says.
Yeah, it's probably a 5G tower then. It's funny that they fearmonger over 5G, but literally when there's like a 5G tower, he didn't even recognize it. Because that's what those panels are. I've seen them before.
What the hell? Okay, I'm gonna go just a little closer. Man, you could get jail time for going up in there.
Might be a point-to-point microwave link, and the sign means there's probably monitoring gear and cell towers.
And then this says Verizon Wireless. And then check that out. Ooh, I'm being watched. Yeah. These are more than just water towers. They're actually hiding those wires behind that thing. It goes all the way up.
I mean, it doesn't look like they're hiding them. You're literally filming them at ground level through a chain link fence that you can easily see through. It's not even a chain link fence they put those things in to make it so you can't see through it, which exists very cheaply. You can just buy those for any chain link fence. You don't need them custom made. You just cut them to length and then slip them through the things. Oh.
Alright. Alright, here's another water tower near me. Can't get up close to this one like I did the other one. There's no way up there. They have it all blocked off. One of the other things about water towers I notices that all of them are on high ground.
Yes, that's the point. The gravity is how it builds pressure, is they pump it up using energy, and then it stores that with potential energy because it's up high, and when they open the valve or whatever, gravity will pull it down. Yes, it needs to be on some sort of elevation. That's thus the tower. It's a tower.
So there's something about them being high up in the air, as high as they can get them.
Like, he could Google this. He could literally Google this. This is so interesting to me, the conspiratorial mindset. Chris exhibits this a lot, too, where he will see something that he doesn't understand, but instead of actually seeking out, what is this? How does this work? Whatever. Immediately they become paranoid and assume the worst, or at least bad. There's an immediate reaction to lack of understanding, impending threat. And I get, like, from some sort of survival, like thing that might make some sort of sense, but it really just comes off as incredibly paranoid, which is what it is. It's unfortunate.
This one has some sort of antenna.
Another cell phone tower, probably. Something similar.
What is that right there?
Yeesh. Alright, let's move on to the next thing. We get the gist. Do another quick Hellen Keller video. Sprinkle those throughout.
Now here's a...
Wondering if I saw this? Depends on what this is. Again, late night talk stuff is so on the nose. It's just like, yeah, we get it. She shot a dog. Like, it's terrible, and I talked about that, but just that bit wasn't funny. The whole joke was just, Scooby-Doo's a dog. She shot a dog. What if Scooby-Doo was afraid of her? Like, that's the whole bit. I don't know. I'm overly critical of comedy. I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick before we continue with this. I've returned.
Name you might know of. Hellen. Now here's a name you might know of. Hellen Keller. The famous lady known for being blind and deaf. But I think it's high time we exposed her. First of all,
The Hellen Keller ukulele apology video is gonna be nuts.
Hellen Keller is blind and deaf. How is that possible?
She had an infection as a child. There you go. Kanekigami says a better joke would be PETA got a new spokesperson today, Christy Gnome.
It's not. Let's look at the history of Hellen Keller. At the age of 19 months, she was diagnosed with blind and deaf. Let's break that down, okay? She can't hear nor see. She can just use...
That happened after an illness. Again, she had already started language acquisition, and then she went blind and deaf, which was, like, the reason she was still capable of continuing language acquisition after that.
Touch, she can just use touch, you might be saying right now. You're telling me you can learn everything in life with simple touch? Sure, buddy. Why you're doing
Literally
that?
just personal incredulity?
By hacking into the US government.
Has Hans talked about this? Probably.
Or better yet, taking care of 3 toddlers while on a radio station. Or better yet, why don't you try shadow boxing an oncoming train? I feel like all of these would be a step up from trying to learn everything through touch.
How does she know she's alive? What the fuck? Oh my god, Descartes crying as a ghost.
How does she know she's alive? No, I mean, like, how does she know what being alive is?
Because you exist. If you exist, then you have a self. You have a self that exists. What do you mean? What do you mean, how does she know she's alive? She has thoughts in her head. She has sensations. Do you think the only things that exist are your sight and sound? And hearing?
You see, in order for a steady or...
Putting Descartes before the horse? Ooh!
Adamant stream of consciousness to occur, one's brain will need to be able to understand the world around them to make decisions. If you can't visualize something or hear something, how are you able to make references on the things that you don't even know exist?
By touch, by other sensation. I'm skipping this guy. This guy's legit a moron. Like, I feel bad covering him almost because he's, like, actually stupid. So I'm gonna move on. How about some super soldier stuff? We haven't checked in on them in a while.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Super Soldier Talk. My name is James Rink. For those of you who don't know, oh, something just fell, but everything seemed to be working. So today we have Alexander Zarkov, and he's an...
Technically, every sense is a repurpose of the sensation of touch. And then DM Trey says, credit to Soup Emporium. Yes, that link goes over that conspiracy in detail. Soup Emporium also did another really good video on Coco the Gorilla, which I'd recommend. So check out that link from DM Trey.
Expert in increasing vital energy. He's a parapsychologist.
Ooh, a parapsychologist, aka a bullshitter. Fun.
Healer, a positive psychotherapist, a business coach, author of training courses, Discover Your Purpose, People of Light, Master Light, and trainings, author of the book Discover Your Purpose, author of Transformation Games, Creators of the Universe, Duality, Reverse Synthesis, Chaos Algorithms, and Crystal Sorcerers, the author of Development of Consciousness Abilities, Deck, author of Initial Cap Transformations Method, the guide conductor of sacred tours to places of power, founder and head of Crystal Energy, member of the Ukrainian Association of Psychotherapists.
Oh my god. Does he have an actual license?
Member of the Ukrainian Association of Psychosomatics, Reproductive Perinatal Psychology, Association of Preventative and Anti-Aging Medicine, Ukrainian Association of Family Medicine, member of the National Psychological
Degree Salad, I was about to say. He's an expert in the psychology of pregnant people. This actually sounds interesting, but I'm doubting his credentials because he's on this channel, and this channel is about secret super soldiers from the future and past that are immortal and have been to space and worked with aliens.
Member of the Ukrainian Association of Functional Medicine, member of the Association of Child and Family Psychologists of the Ukraine, and member of the Independent Association of Nutritionists and
Of the Ukraine? That's interesting.
Dietitians of the Ukraine. Also member of the International Guild of Writers. Welcome back, Alexander. How are you doing today?
Many thanks for joining to you, and I very, very appreciate it to see you again and share my experience with all of us.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And let's see here, guys. We're gonna do a show today about Tartaria. Initially, we're gonna maybe look into do like a remote viewing session, but Alexander wanted to just wing this. So
did we already have Tartaria on the bingo card?
let's see where will she even take it.
If not, Tartaria.
So just a little quick update.
He does look young for those degrees, but I also don't want to just say, like, I don't believe you, unless I really, really don't believe them, and I don't know.
To the vagrant walking around the city of Los Angeles with my NeoCube. You're very welcome. So enjoy it. But yeah, somebody stole a meditation cube off my table when I was at the 5D events in Los Angeles.
Someone stole his meditation cube. That's not very zen of them. I'm going to start finding my center and walking the middle path as soon as I steal this shit from this guy. It seems super calming.
Easy go. So it's probably, hopefully it's not going to go in the trash can. It'll help you, heal you. Oh, we can't say that word. It'll help regenerate. Anyway, rejuvenate you. So let's just go on here. All right.
The upset that he can't make specific health claims anymore. Womp womp.
Alex, so Tartaria.
This guy seems nervous. He's always like that. That's just kind of his affect.
Okay, so how about this? Let's just explain.
He's a Holocaust denier if it makes you feel better.
What you think.
Not a good guy.
Tartaria is based on your own knowledge and opinions. Yeah. Give us like an overview. What is it?
Yeah, first of all, I basically live in here in this territory, which like cover it. So I mostly have more information and investigations, etc., etc. Unfortunately, what I tell you now, it's for mostly of all of the people some kind of mystifications, because like the Tartaria information only like 15 years that some kind of people show the maps and the Tartaria showed into the all audience, because like 12 years, maybe 30 years, you don't see about Tartaria nothing. It's firstly interesting because when I investigated this thing, this is big territory. This is like huge territory of our ancient relatives, which covered like Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and
wow, this is actually someone who lives in a region that is believed to be part of what they believe was Tartaria, who believes it. Oh boy.
And like more than 23, approximately 24 countries.
Opinion on the DC comic Prez, the first teen president. I'm more of a Marvel fan, so I can't speak to that. I don't really read DC often.
For the globe. So
isn't that a reboot of something? That sounds familiar. Was that like a weird comic from the 70s that they're rebooting? Sounds like a 70s comic.
This is like hugest territory which our relatives basically and created a lot of bigger structure, mostly way like you see this kind of ancient maps. But when I discovered this, I figure out because like, you know, I mentioned in...
Well, I'm just going to be honest. I don't find him interesting, so I moved. Sorry. I always find the super soldier guy interesting, but I don't think he's talked enough in this one. Oh my goodness. Jim Brewer and Mark Sargent, two bad tastes that taste worse together. Mark Sargent is like the flat earther that helped popularize it in like 2016, 2017. Jim Brewer is a former comedian who is now a right-wing air quotes comedian, and he brings Mark on to talk about flat earth.
And it's also in New York City. I think it's in Grand Central Station.
Dallas.
It's in one of those
It's
stations.
in Dallas too.
Yes. It's in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that also the new what is it? United Nations symbol. It's
it's the UN flag, and it's also it's officially called the azimuthal equidistant map.
Azimuthal.
But yeah, it's all the same thing. And that's so the UN can use it as their flag, and it's
yes, they use it for their flag because It doesn't put any particular country or hemisphere at the center. The North Pole is the center, so when you're creating an organization that's supposed to be a place for diplomacy and open discussion between nations, having a symbol that shows the Earth and everyone on kind of an equal playing field, even if that's not the actuality of the reality of politics, global politics. The point is no one is the center. Symbolic.
Totally.
Oh, shit. Sorry about that.
Oh, the last Apollo mission. There was Scarlett Johansson.
And the premises during the
when they perm the hair, is almost exactly as what those are.
The absence of gravity.
Same map.
Where is he?
All right, sorry, I'm going.
No,
really
no, it's okay. And
But-
to your point, I do a section on a podcast every Tuesday called, and I've been doing it now for what, 2 years, called Lucky Unlucky.
Yeah.
Where I say, okay, if you're lucky, you caught, some sort of weird side effect that reads like a book of witches spells. And if you're unlucky, you catch suddenly, unexpectedly, short illness, brief illness, blah, 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 and then you're done. So yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you there.
So before we get into this, if you don't mind, Mark and Jim, I saw something. Now, this guy's a flat earther. And that is definitely a name that people like to throw around.
Right.
And it's like, it's an insult. It's just another insult and a way to poo-poo people.
Sure.
I saw this.
What do you mean it's a way to poop? He literally is a flat earther. He believes the earth is flat. That is not a pejorative. It is an accurate statement of his beliefs. How can you possibly try and claim that that's somehow an insult when he believes the earth is flat? It's just a description of his beliefs. If you find a description of your beliefs to be insulting, get different beliefs.
I saw this video.
Like sovereign citizens who are like, I'm not a sovereign citizen, there's no such thing. Yeah, it's an oxymoron. Yep, we know. It's what you're trying to do, that's the point.
And this is something that everyone listening and watching, you can go test it out. So here's a guy explaining to you why we believe what we believe and why the earth most likely is flat.
Right.
Most likely.
This guy brings up a totally different situation. He says,
to make us feel that way. Rothschild. Yeah, who prints those books? Do you know who prints those
so
books?
he goes on to say, Ghislaine Maxwell's father prints our books. No, wait.
No, it means that they're lying to you about what's in
Is he
But
literally
he starts going on
is he
to
trying to play a TikTok live on air through his microphone? He's good at the cyber like Mike Lindell.
saying cities across our whole country.
You can't send that to Mike to play.
No, you know what? And it's
Even
the
he's
wrong-
like,
so
this is
in this,
embarrassing.
he said, here it is. This is the one I wanted.
North America was destroyed by fire between 1850.
Did you hear what he said? He said,
Every major city in North America was destroyed by fire between 1850 and the early 1900s. Every city in America was torched. So we don't
Not
really know.
every city. Many cities had great fires because, fun fact, cities were hella flammable and everyone was using gas lamps or open flame candles.
What was here anymore. They left a few museums or whatever you want to call them. Look at the great, look, whoever's watching, look at your big city, wherever you are, Atlanta, New York, Chicago, doesn't matter where. Type in the Great Fire of, and then type in your city. You're going to see that at some point between 1850 and 1930, your city was completely devoured. That was in this country.
Yeah.
bro,
True.
I immediately, and just like all of you are going to immediately go, I looked up Milwaukee, the Great Fire of and completely almost entirely wiped out. St. Louis. I started doing Kalamazoo. I went in a hole for 40 minutes looking up obscure cities. Why do we not know this?
Yeah.
Because you're an idiot that didn't pay attention in history class. What is this with conspiracy theorists being like, why didn't I know this widely known fact? They're hiding it from us. We didn't make you not pay attention in school. No one made you stop paying attention. That's on you. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, because I was a kid that paid attention in school. Meanwhile, all the fucking other kids were like fucking around and not paying attention. And now we're here, And they're like, why? They were hiding this. No, you're a dumbass. Just because you are dumb does not mean things were hidden from you. You are a fool. You sit on a mountain of mediocrity and stupid internet posts. Stop acting like you're better than other people because you didn't pay attention in 6th grade.
How do we not know this?
Yeah, yeah. Now, here's another one you could look up is the World's Fairs, right?
Yes.
The World's Fairs. If you look up, Chicago World's Fair, whatever, all these World's Fairs that were like in the 1800s, seems around the 1800s, some went down. They had these.
Man, that turn of the century, people were big on progress. What's up with that? Instead of just begging the question, you could actually take that question and go ask someone. There are whole websites on Reddit. There's an Ask Historian section, and the people who respond have to be vetted as actual people in the field, and they give detailed, cited answers. People who actually know history are super into it, and if you asked them these questions, they would love to tell you. So the idea that you think posing a question, the ability to form an absurd question in your mind is a gotcha, asking questions is the easy part. Answering them satisfactorily is hard. So stop trying to act like you're smart because you keep asking questions that you think are devastating because you personally don't know the answer. You think it's a gotcha. It isn't. You just sound silly.
Buildings that they said, well, we just built this for the World's Fair. Really? You built
Yes.
It looks like Rome. It looks like...
That's the point. It was neoclassical architecture made of concrete and stucco. It was meant to look nice for a year or two and then not be around. That's the point. It's a facade. God damn. These people need to look at amusement park internet stuff.
Right.
These incredible Greek structures or these buildings that are, so much more beautiful.
Columns are Roman.
Than the structures they build today. And they say, oh, we just built it for the World's Fair. And then we're tearing it down afterwards. So just like
some of them got torn down, some, again, got set on fire because everything was super flammable.
Fires, they destroyed.
Yeah.
They destroyed something.
Yep. Here you go. The Great Fire of Jacksonville. At least 90% of Jacksonville burned to the ground. 2,368 buildings along 146 blocks were destroyed. That was in 1901.
Bro.
We not know. You don't know everything, and that's okay. The problem is when you take your gaps in knowledge and assert that it must be nefarious because you didn't know something. Is this projected insecurity and he's upset he didn't know, so he wants to blame someone? I don't get it. I learn new things all the time, and I don't go, why was this being kept from me? How little do you learn that you think this is some sort of nefarious thing, that there are things you don't know? You don't know most things. Most people don't know most things. It's impossible for any individual person to know most things.
We never heard. And
right?
Here's my big.
You've never heard of great fires? You've never heard of the various different fires? You've never heard any of the folk songs? Late last night, when we were all in bed, old something Leary put a lantern in the shed. The cow kicked it over, and this is what she said: it'll be a hot town in the old town tonight. Well, and then you can repeat it. This is stuff that is in the fabric of American history and stuff. Is these fires? This is well known. These are not secret events. These are quite well known events. In the towns where this has happened, in certain cities, you can go and tour the underground, because I think in Chicago, for instance, they ended up building the city a floor higher. So it's not a hidden thing, even a little bit. You just didn't know about it. That's fine.
Question: how'd this guy find out? He goes on government, and he's, they label him as a flat earther. You know, when I came off of JFK, I just came back from a flight and I landed for the Paramount. And when I landed
Why
at
does
JFK,
Jim Brewer look like an AI-generated image of Jim Brewer? Doesn't he look at the deep, weird lines? This screams AI to me. It isn't. This is his real face, but he's like an AI-generated image of himself. Benekagami says, imagine being so arrogant that you think that you personally should be able to learn the entire breadth of human knowledge.
Okay. They have a flat Earth
symbol. Yeah.
No, a huge map as you come out of the exit and you're going down the spiral staircase. You have to look at it.
Yeah.
And it's an ice wall around the perimeters.
It's not an ice wall. That's Antarctica. That's just how it looks on that projection. Not a wall.
And it's a flat Earth. And it's also in New York City. I think it's in
Does he think the Great Fire of London was somehow connected to this? Probably. Tartaria people believe that it's a global thing. Or planar, I guess, if they're flat earthers.
I think it's in Grand Central Station.
Dallas.
It's in one of those
It's in
stations.
Dallas too.
Yes. It's in a lot of places. So
Isn't that
what-
also the new
what is that?
what is it? United Nations
Yeah,
symbol.
it is.
It's
It's the UN flag, and it's also it's officially called the azimuthal equidistant map. But yeah, it's all the same thing, and that's so the UN can use it as their flag, and it's totally legit. But if we say, oh no, it's what the map we use in our community, and they'll go, no, you're crazy.
No. The problem is that they're using it as a flag. They're using it as a symbol. They're not saying this is what the Earth looks like. It's not. The Earth looks closer to this, which I know you're upset about, but nonetheless, it's true.
Crazy. It's like, really? It's the same map. And by the way, the UN flag, real quick, there's a continent that's missing on the UN flag, and which is Antarctica. An entire continent is not on the UN flag.
Hey, fun fact, there's no nation state of Antarctica. Doesn't make sense graphically to put it on this emblem, does it? Because it would just be a big ugly ring around it. Again, it's a stylized emblem. It's not supposed to be used for educational purposes to teach you anything about the shape of the Earth. It is a symbolic representation of the nations of the world coming together under some sort of equal system. Again, idealistically.
And instead is replaced by these giant spiky Greco-Roman wreaths on the outside.
Those, you fucking idiot.
It's like, wow, that's kind of interesting. I mean, Antarctica is at least as big as Australia, at the bare minimum, if you believe what science tells you, but it's not there.
Yeah, there isn't a nation state there. Oh.
Although I have to say, I don't trust the UN, anything about it. They want to be, they want the United States to be under their control. No, thank you.
Right.
We know.
So,
but what do you think, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was under the impression that they were olive branches, which are usually used as a depiction to symbolize peace. Hannah puts head in hands. Yeah, we'll count that.
Because I don't like the bags under my eyes. They really bother me. So that gave me an excuse to be like, hey, we're going bunker, put on the glasses. When did you start?
Wow, he's wearing sunglasses inside in his studio. Wow.
Start diving into this?
2014, after I had run out of every other conspiracy I could think of. That was when I started. Because I never got married. And so,
can't imagine why.
If you're a tech guy, if you're into tech, you are on the internet a lot, and you go down a lot of different rabbit holes. And I'd run out of rabbit holes, and finally, it's like, okay, I'm not getting any younger. Let's look at this flat Earth piece of crap. Like, I hated flat Earth, absolutely hated it. Everybody that gets into
so did I.
Yeah, I mean, I know one of my friends, David Weiss from DITRH. He used to ban people that would bring it up in chat forever, like lifetime bans. He'd be like, banned. You bring up flat Earth, banned. And I looked at it and I thought, okay, I can shoot this thing down in a weekend. And that weekend turned into a month, which turned into 9 months. And then finally
This annoys me about Mark Sargent is his personal inability to do the math to debunk it somehow meant to him that it must be true. Mark, other people have corrected you. Other people have shown you the math. Other people have explained why you're wrong. You're just willfully ignorant on this point, and you like it. You like the attention it gives you. I get that. Attention can be an intoxicating thing. That doesn't mean what you're doing is right, either morally or factually.
beginning of 2015, I just asked the internet for help. I made a series of videos called Flat Earth Clues, and I said, okay, I can't prove the globe in a court of law anymore. I didn't even like saying the word flat Earth. And I put it out there with all my contact information, which is a smart thing to do. Put all your contact information on every video you make. And waited for the shoe to drop. And it never did. But I had people immediately start contacting me, military people, saying, okay, it's not that nuts. Here's why. It's like, what?
What? No, all right.
And I'm sure those weren't people trolling you, Mark. I'm sure the fact that you left your contact information didn't solicit any trolling. It was all real military individuals that contacted you. Very true.
When you say like a military person,
Yeah.
like who's reaching
Oh,
out?
good Lord.
Like someone you know?
No,
or
no,
like what-
complete strangers were contacting me. The first guy was
If you can't trust complete strangers who are anonymous on the internet, who can you trust?
guy named Sean McCrary. He was a Sparrow missile system instructor for the United States Navy. He was the very first guy.
Reminder that people who debunk conspiracy theories several times have sent fake tips pretending to be from the military or pilots to different flat earthers, and they buy it every time, even when they hide clues in the messages that they are trolling them.
Guy, and he goes, I want to go public with this. I want to talk about this. He goes, we do not account for curvature over the spin of the Earth in any of our firing solutions for missiles. And I go, you really want to go public for this? He goes, yep, I do. And I think I mentioned to you briefly when we were talking last week or a couple days ago, where I said when we did that podcast with him, the DOD was pinging our server nonstop. Not because of flat Earth, but because he was a missile system instructor. And they're like, oh, please, God, don't let him tell us how to compromise the missile system. And then a
What?
sub guy contacted me, a retired master gunner, tank commander, howitzers, just about all branches of the service. And then air traffic controllers, pilots, everybody except aerospace contacted me. And they all kept adding the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's not nuts. Look into this. Little mini
They were
deep throat
pinging the
things.
server.
So
obviously,
because I'm
and
like
he
I
knew
said,
it was the DOD that was pinging his server.
the more I look into
He
it,
knows it.
And the water thing really hit me.
Water lays flat.
Meaning, water always lays flat.
Not really. It always is trying to find the closest to the center of gravity of the object, and on Earth, the Earth is very big. We are very small compared to the Earth. So when you look out on the horizon at the ocean or a big lake or something, it might appear flat, but it's not. It's a sphere. It's a very big one. You were really, really tiny, and on a basketball, it would look flat to you. You don't understand scale.
And water, no matter what, if you turn it, whatever, it always looks for a flat. It flattens its surface. So, if we're on a ball, how's the water just not going?
Right.
Gravity.
Either fall off or whatever, and then people say, "Well, gravity."
Right.
Saying the answer in a silly voice doesn't make it any less the answer. It is indeed gravity. Sorry you don't accept that. It's demonstrably true.
When people say that,
And
they know what they're talking about.
And for your listeners, another thing which I just thought of, which is, look, find me curved ice anywhere. When water lays perfectly flat and it freezes, it's absolutely tabletop flat. Hence, ice.
Again, same thing. You're looking over a very small scale compared to the overall size and curvature of the Earth. You are looking for something on a scale that is microscopic compared to the actual size of the Earth. You do not comprehend how tiny you are.
Ice skating, right? No, there is no curved ice anywhere. I mean, yeah, you can make you can.
There's no like today at the roller rink. We'll be at the ice ball. You know, maybe you can do a couple circles around the
Yeah.
ball. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as ice forming in a circle. It forms flat unless you purposely make it like in a tray or something.
Yeah, but have you ever seen these videos like where they say they're out in space and you know, they'll have a drop of water, right?
Right.
And they'll you know, float it by, you know, like in
Yes, the videos that demonstrably show people in microgravity on the space station or on some sort of craft. I have seen those, yes.
in the absence of gravity, a blob of water does become a circle.
Right.
But not the absence of gravity, it's microgravity. That's pedantic, but it is important.
That's that's water tension, and that you can only use that for a certain size of water, and then it starts getting all wobbly. It's really, really tough to hold into a sphere. By the way, our community doesn't even use circle; we use a ball or sphere or globe. But
Stone Corbell says ice always freezes perfectly. It never perfectly flat, never curves. And then there is a picture of curved ice. I would imagine they were trying to demonstrate or claim on like a lake or something, not on land necessarily. But I don't know.
But yeah, you're
either way they're wrong.
Absolutely right. In fact, little thing I learned years ago, which was when they make buckshot for shotguns, you know how they do it? They drop it. They drop lead from a certain height, and on its way down, it with the tension, it forms into tiny little balls on the way down, and then it cools.
It drops in the water or something.
No, it just it cools literally on the way down. By the time it hits the bottom, it's cooled. Anyway, but
Trey says no, they do not. Trey's a big gun person, so I'm gonna trust Trey on this.
To your point, as far as the videos they used to do, now it's a combination of CGI.
Trey says they use molds.
But before CGI,
Mark Sargent was wrong about something. My goodness, is a day that ends in Y.
CGI, they used to do something on parabolic flights. You know what those are? Like it's called the vomit comet.
No.
Okay, so you could
yes.
Yeah, so you take a plane.
Jimmy knows.
You empty out a plane and you put people. You can pay money to do this even now if you want.
Oh. Monkey Cheese with a $3 tip says, Hannah, I've been in the Navy 19 years now, and 50% of Mark's military jargon made no sense. It is super easy to tell when someone is full of it. Thank you.
It's called simulated anti-gravity. And you get to plane and you basically...
Microgravity.
Nose down at a certain angle in the plane, and you're basically...
So you have a pile of buckshot next to you. You just have loose ammo. You know that if it turns into a Fallout game, your house is going to get so looted. You better set up some sort of elaborate quest. People are going to be pissed. The balance is going to be so fucked if anyone can stroll in there and take all that ammo.
Driving without
you have
without wind.
Maybe a series of notes that lead to like epic creatures that you have to hunt, and once you get all the hides, then you can unlock a door or something. I don't know. I'm not a quest designer. I play Bethesda games, so my bar is low.
What you're doing, because you're basically you're in a plane that's falling at free fall speed, and you can record in there. I mean, you can watch what water happens in that, and it's like, okay, water falling inside this airplane. When they got to the CGI stages, that's when everything changed. Then they didn't have to use the parabolic flight so much to fake it. So, but always interesting that the ISS is almost exactly as wide as the inside of an airplane, you know, filled with material. And there's always this noise.
Have you seen the Chinese space station? It's notably larger.
There's so much wrong with the ISS. I could spend forever on it. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sure you got questions.
What, Jim? Jimbo, what were you
I was going to say ISS, International Space Station, NASA.
NASA's a joke.
Has been debunked. NASA's been debunked for many.
The code is the animals I hunted, but you need to read the journals to know the order. Smart. Benigami says, to demonstrate how little they understand scale, here's an image scaling all water and air to the planet. Let's take a look. Invalid link. Wait, hold on. Did I do something? There we go. There's the air and the water on the Earth. If we're all in dense balls. Lovely. Peeplord says, they used to drop lead like that for making musket rounds. Unrelated. I'm now in favor of re-education or else centers.
Many years. And if, you know, if that people haven't seen that, you can find too much information.
That's how we...
You know, the fake microphone handoff. Have you seen the green screen?
Thank you.
The cables.
Again, their personal incredulity is an argument.
Let me just move this guy's cable here. The gel in the hair with the girls. Right?
Again, none of them have ever had long hair if they think hair gel will make your hair look like people with long hair do in space. They've never had long hair, I'm guessing. That's not how hairspray or gel or anything works.
It is from a stagecraft standpoint, it is atrocious. I mean, I'm
from a stagecraft standpoint. You don't have the authority to say that, Mark. What are you talking about? When have you ever worked on the stage? What the fuck are you talking about?
Stunned. I look at it, it's like, who is producing this? It is the worst. When the women came,
that I never understand as an argument. You think it's so bad? That's your argument? If it was faked, it would look very produced, but it doesn't, because it is just people in space trying to put on, like, educational things if they're doing short videos. I need to use the bathroom real quick. I will return in a moment. You know, there's a new movie with Scarlett Johansson coming out, and the premise is they fake the moon landing, and it looks pretty funny. I'm assuming the flat earthers are freaking out about that.
Came out with their hair doing the Bride of Frankenstein thing, when they perm the hair straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm going,
What do you think a perm is?
that is the last thing you would ever do, right? Normally, because like, okay, all you have to do is put a hat on them, tie their hair back, whatever. It's like, oh, no, we want to try to simulate anti-gravity and the general public will believe it. It's like, why would they believe it? I mean, you could bounce a quarter off that hair. It was awful. But
it's like they jumped the shark.
Yeah, absolutely. But
it
even bypasses the one part about that was clever, which was it completely blew past the whole point, which is nobody should have hair in an ISS at all because the air filtration system. Nobody should have hair. They should absolutely.
What? We're gonna shave your heads. That would be worse, Mark. You get that would be worse, right? Because they would have to continually shave their heads in space, and then the debris from the haircuts would be all over the place. What are you talking about? They have filtration systems. What?
Absolutely be shaved. I mean, eyebrows, the whole 9 yards. It should be like a swimming.
That's so stupid as an idea. He has no idea how anything works. What are you talking about?
Pool. You know, at a public pool where like women had to wear hairnets back in the day. I think they still do.
Yeah.
And
what?
That's what, because you know, like you have like an 8-inch strand of hair that breaks off and starts floating through. That would be disgusting. It would be absolutely. And
you know, I think they figured out and deal with the hair issue, Mark. Have you ever? I was gonna say if you ever lived with a woman, but he's not married, so I don't know. Yeah, when you live with people with long hair, the hair's just around. That's like a thing on Earth. That's not even just a space thing. Jesus Christ, Mark, live with a woman once.
Clog up the system in 2 seconds. And so it's like, why do these women have long hair? And then it's like, wait a minute, why does anybody have hair? They wouldn't. Absolutely wouldn't. Yeah.
You have a bonnet. I have a thing I wear at night because my hair is very curly and I need to keep it moisturized. Otherwise it's terrible. So every night I have to basically soak it before bed. And then I have a cap that I wear while I sleep. Marcus Drake says he didn't say no head hair. He said no hair, smooth like a dolphin.
Wires. Thank you, by the way, for bringing up that the microphone the hat handoff that never happened.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most egregious thing ever. You ever seen somebody grab something that wasn't there and put nothing away on the shelf?
By the way, tip, if you have like really dry, curly hair, maybe try that. Like at night, like literally if you can, jump in the shower and like get it completely wet and kind of scrunch it and maybe put it up in a bonnet. It's helped me.
And
It's quite dry right now, so I need to jump in the shower tonight for sure, but like good.
It's, normies, space lovers.
Also, you don't necessarily, especially if you have curly dry hair, this is tips that would have helped me immensely. You shouldn't, if you have curly dry hair, wash your hair every day. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you have like a beautician you go to or someone who does your hair, maybe ask them what they think. But you can, like, if you have really dry curly hair, like maybe wash your hair once or twice a week. Now, still obviously you're showering and you're conditioning and putting other things and making sure it's wet. But the actual shampoo, you do not have to do every day. It'll strip the moisture from your hair. It'll damage it. All right, that's enough for curly hair tips.
And they're like, oh well, so, they short circuit. They
don't. I have products in my hair. Yeah, Jelly Soft Curl. I have Jelly Soft Curl that works really well. I'm actually out. I gotta get more.
Well,
I put it in the shower and just scrunch it into the hair, and it helps keeps it moist.
This is where we're at, Mark.
Yeah.
It's like when you show people that, like, I can show people and they'll go, it's on the internet, or I'll go, whether it's the actual footage.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
what do you,
Yeah,
how do you not, but they can't wrap their heads around. They just can't, or they don't want to. It's weird.
I've had
real quick, there's a movie coming out soon on Netflix called Fly Me to the Moon.
Scarlett Johansson.
And the premise is during the 1960s space race between the United States and the Soviet Union, a relationship develops between the NASA director in charge of an Apollo 11 launch and the marketing specialist brought in to fix NASA's public image.
Yeah, they're talking about the Scarlett Johansson movie coming out.
Stage a backup fake moon landing.
Wow.
The movie's about.
Yeah, that is.
So is this?
I'm assuming at the end of the movie it'll turn out they don't need the backup and they do land on the moon and it goes fine.
Starting to
still seems funny though.
Put out. Is this the beginning of, or is this more propaganda?
I think it's
to spear up.
I think it's a little bit of muddying the waters because that movie that Mike just mentioned. Hi, Mike. By the way, the it is the remake of a British film that touched on the same subject from a few years ago. This one's, of course, a little higher octane with Scarlett Johansson. I think Channing Tatum's in it, and the premise is
correct.
Yeah, the premise is that you create a backup film reel for the moon missions in case they die in real life. So the moon missions actually happen, but in case they tank and crater it on the moon, you can run this and no one will know the difference, right? Which begs the question. It's like, what then? Why would you ever try to do it in the first place? Why
Cold
would you
War.
ever try to do it for real?
Right. Cold War.
Right? And by the way, that was another thing. One of the reasons why
People it says, how much money do we have to raise to fly these people into a femboy?
our community just kept
make that joke
growing and growing and growing was because the moon missions aged so horribly. Apollo, even back in the day, after they cut it off in 1972, the last Apollo mission, there were guys, this was way before the internet, there were people, who could you tell, right? So you had to go to like UFO conventions with like a table at a booth,
right?
With, it'd be like,
where I'm sure you're selling your books to all the lovely ufologists.
Right.
These things don't, and it was the super nerds, it was the science guys that were out there. It's like, look, this doesn't match up and this doesn't make sense, but no.
They're not the science guys just because they're trying to use scientific jargon to make it sound like their theories are legit. They're not. He thinks that moon landing conspiracists are like science people? Oh, God. All right, what else we got?
Yo, what up?
Fenekagami says, this, by the way, Mark, is why non-flurfers don't talk to you. It's very clear, by the way, you're talking about the debunking information that you don't listen with people who engage with you, so people give up. And Dillis Filler says, can we pronounce it ufologist now? Yes.
By the flowers! Did you hear about the crazy chemtrails that's in the sky? We're all gonna die!
Chemtrails on the bingo card.
It's Richie the Baba, and we got my co-host, a brand new co-host here. He's not only Chris, the camera guy, but the bigger, better camera guy. There we go. Give it up.
A different Chris, the camera guy. Okay, different one.
You're bigger and better. That's all I gotta say, bro. What's up, man?
Dude, the eclipse.
What do you think about the eclipse?
Bro, I didn't even know they were dropping stuff when the eclipse went down.
Bro, I saw things coming out of the sky. Like,
what?
I saw a missile and just stuff was just coming out, dude. Like
He saw a missile? Sir, were you on some sort of hallucinogenic drug at the time?
Just pouring stuff out of the missile.
So what was the excuse? Like, what was the reason?
The Polte stuff will be later this week.
for
Maybe
that-
tomorrow.
Well, people are saying, like, everybody's going crazy. They're saying that, like, this is the new, the spraying out of the missiles is going to kill us all.
Well, I mean, it would make sense because you had everyone going outside.
What do you mean makes sense?
Well, because think about it. If you're trying to, like, spray something over an entire population of the United States, where the eclipse just so happened.
You know the eclipse isn't over the entire United States, right? Like, it didn't hit the West Coast at all.
To be going
Is
over
it China?
at that time.
Is it China?
I don't know.
Who is it?
But dude,
this is unironic. Like, this hurts my brain. Like, when I joke about taking psychic damage, this hurts my brain. It really does. Listening to this conversation is insufferable to me. What is the flow of this conversation? What information is being exchanged? They're just like, bro, I heard a thing, bro. Bro. Oh my god, I hate it.
That's like the perfect opportunity to hit as many people as you possibly could.
Because everybody's outside.
Everyone's outside.
And they got the glasses.
They got the glasses.
Did you buy the glasses?
No, I got them for free at T-Mobile.
What? T-Mobile gave you free glasses?
T-Mobile Tuesdays, bro. They give you free stuff every Tuesday.
I didn't get anything. I was cutting.
It implies you go to T-Mobile every Tuesday. That's interesting.
Herald Day. I was like, nah,
you should, bro. Your hair's pink. They should give you something for free.
Nah. They don't like me. They don't like me.
Dude, there was so much stuff about the world was gonna end.
Yeah.
Jesus was gonna come back on the eclipse.
No, literally they said we're gonna die. Or it's gonna be 3 days of like darkness. That's what everybody's saying.
It was like 5 minutes.
That's what idiot conspiracy theorists were saying. Not the general public. Who are they blaming this on now? Other conspiracy theorists said this. What? Overthought says, this is what happens when you let Fago go flat and sit in your car on an August day with no shade.
Well, in California, it didn't even hit us that much. It was like a fog.
Well, we saw it. Like, I went outside.
It was a fog.
Yeah, I looked up, and it was cool. Like, you could see through the glasses.
Spraying everywhere. I saw, like, rockets.
I didn't even see it. Dude, somebody even said there was a dragon.
There was a what?
A dragon.
No.
A dragon, like, flew across the sky.
A dragon?
A dragon.
I saw the video, and it was a UFO.
What? Wait, did you actually see a video of a UFO flying across?
It went in through. It was like this black disc, and it went through the sky, and it didn't go out of the. You saw it go through the cloud,
and it just disappeared. It has almost 200,000 subscribs.
It didn't even go. Everybody's waiting for it to leave out the other way. It just hit, boom, and it was gone.
No way.
And it was a flying saucer, dude. The video's everywhere. The one guy's like cussing like crazy. What the F is this? Oh my gosh! Like he's like, it was pretty funny. He's like, we're gonna die, dude. It's like aliens coming. Oh, look at that.
So he was recording it.
He was recording it. Like it was funny.
Okay, this is my gripe with people's recordings.
I saw it on TikTok.
Maybe we should ban TikTok.
Dude, okay, so
I'm not crying that hard about it. The precedent it sets isn't good. But like, also TikTok is a shithole, so like, I'm not gonna cry about it.
UFO recordings. Why do they all always suck? Dude, iPhones, almost everyone on the planet has an iPhone. 4K. Best videos.
I know, because they zoom in, and you're like, why didn't you zoom in so close?
But even still, dude, now, like, the Samsungs can zoom in like 100 times, and you can see, like, the texture of the moon.
No way.
But yet, no one can get a clear shot of a good UFO.
They're uploading it wrong.
They need Chris the camera guy. This Chris the camera guy.
The better camera guy.
It to a full 4K quality to YouTube.
The better
UFO
Chris guy.
So what do you think the UFO is?
I think they're demons.
Do you really?
Well, what are you talking about? Of course.
I was gonna say
aliens or demons on the bingo card.
China, but I mean
You were gonna say China?
I'm the law. Okay,
I'm
so
saying that they're demons, man, because there's like portals. Have you seen all the portals that are coming out? Crazy black the holes that are, and then things are coming out of them.
there's an inside joke about opening portals, but I'm not gonna say. I'll tell
Is
you.
it?
Maybe we'll
Oh,
talk about it on the
man.
Patreon.
That's crazy. You better.
These are the most insufferable people I've ever had the displeasure of watching. Find something else. Hmm.
Now, outside of the Bible, every single book out there about Solomon is dealing with Solomon and his demons and how to control demons. Now, to me, there seems to be
Every book about Solomon, I don't think that's true.
a huge juxtaposition between the Old Testament Torah of the Bible saying that
The whole Old Testament isn't the Torah, it's like the first. No, I'm thinking of the Pentateuch, actually, sorry.
Solomon is the most revered king to have ever lived, and he built the holiest temple ever to the one true God, when all the other books on the matter are concerned with exactly how Solomon was able to control demons so that someone else can acquire all of that wealth and power. And I'm not sure how far down that rabbit hole I'm willing to take you guys, because some things you need to just learn on your own. But it's definitely a question worth asking. You might also be asking why in the Vatican there's an attendance hall that is pretty clearly an homage to a snake all the way down to the fangs. I mean,
What? Your pareidolia does not make it so.
you think this was an accident? And behind the Popa is this statue that is something straight out of a bad dream. While every other church in the world uses either Jesus on the cross or just the sign of the cross, here we have someone, I'm sure you're supposed to think that this is Jesus, I'm not so sure that it is, looks like they're escaping from a pit. To me, nothing about this says, rejoice, your salvation is here. And I'll just leave that right there. A quick reminder, Freemasonry traces its origins back
Freemasons on the bingo card.
to the original Solomon's
Why are salt and vinegar chips so good?
temple. And they're not just concerned with the architectural process of the temple's creation, but also as self-growth and enlightenment. What did the serpent offer Eve in the Garden of Eden? That if you eat of the fruit, you shall not surely die, but your eyes shall be open and you shall
Because I'm pregnant? I think I notice a few things before that.
be as gods, knowing good and evil. So knowledge is what he offered. It may seem
dill pickled chips are the fucking best. They're so good.
like I'm throwing out random stuff here, but these are all stories that everybody knows that most people haven't
Thank you, Depraved Ambiance, for the clarification on the Torah Pentateuch thing.
sat down and really thought about. And let's face it, these old stories have traveled a long way to get to us. There's two very clear choke points that I can see that this knowledge had to pass through in history to get to our present day. And I can't help but think that the line between good and evil might have been blurred along the way. Just look at all of the stuff that's come out about all of these rich, powerful people in recent years. How did they get to where they're at?
I've had Cuban sandwich chips. They have existed. I don't know if they still do.
Through hard work, or did they have some help? As far back as Solomon and every point in between, you can find these people employing the use of magicians, which is controlling demons, to get what you want. This is what St. Thomas Aquinas said on the subject. The intellectual substances, the demons, whose assistance these arts employ, are not well disposed according to virtue. Moreover, one is not well disposed in terms of intellect if he is incited to...
I think those are fake, so I don't know if I'd say doesn't understand how cameras work. I think they're literally describing fake videos. So I'd say no.
...and assistance through committed crimes. However, this happens in these arts, for it is recorded that some, in practicing them, have oft innocent children. Therefore, these arts do not employ the assistance of an intellect well disposed to virtue. So here he's just saying that these people do some bad things. He continues, now magicians call upon those whose assistance they employ as though they were their superiors, and as soon as they appear, they command them as inferiors. Let me put that in plain English. I've heard a lot of stories on this subject, and I'm not sure which way is correct, and it's something I have no desire to delve deeply into. I'm a firm believer in see no, hear no, speak no evil. I don't watch horror movies. I'm not into these sickos' fantasies that work for production companies. But there are...
How dare you? Are you telling me that... What? You telling me this is some sicko's fantasy? You're telling me this is the work of a deranged mind? Probably, but it's a good movie. So chill out, man. Bye. I could have grabbed Monkey Shines, but I feel like I did Monkey Shines recently. Watch Monkey Shines. It's a good Romero film.
A few elements that seem universal to all of this. One is the magic circle and the seal within it. By some accounts, the demon is supposed to appear within this circle and is trapped inside of there. By other accounts, the practitioner is supposed to be inside of the circle for protection. And it's probably intentionally confusing whether you're supposed to use a pentagram or the six-sided star. Some accounts have Solomon's seal looking like this. And while we're here, I think it's just strange that the emblem of a nation is based off of a sign designed to capture demons.
Oh my god, it's a Star of David. Overt anti-Semitism on the bingo card. Is this popular media's evil? For what? What popular media?
Heaven but recognize here on earth. It's a marriage made in heaven but recognize. We can take it.
In order to keep the magician safe from whatever he summons. Raise no more demons than you can set down. Just because you went through all of this trouble doesn't mean that one of these are going to appear to you. The Lesser Key of Solomon deals with 72 of the top-ranking demons. So this would be like you sending an email to the 72 of the top CEOs in the world and expecting them to get back to you. What do you have to offer them? You think they're going to stop what they're doing and come attend to your needs just for fun? Probably not.
I am pretty fun. If any demons are listening, I don't have a lot to offer, but I have salt and vinegar chips. I have some Coke. A cola, not the drug. I have a lot of movies. If you want to make a deal, hit me up.
Not unless you have something to offer them that they really want. Or unless you truly have some secret knowledge that gives you power over them. But this is what Thomas Aquinas is referring to when saying that you summon them as if they're a superior, and then once they get here, you treat them as an inferior to do your bidding. Aquinas also infers that the magician is not a very smart person who actually does this. I'm trying to keep this fairly short, so I'm not going into a full explanation of the jinn and demons, but it can be said that you are summoning an entity that has been around for thousands and thousands of years, even since before our modern world. And that these entities are much smarter than you are, and it's really easy to flip the tables to where instead of you controlling them, they're controlling you.
Things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil.
I really can't help but think about that when I'm reading the Testament of Solomon, because the second time that he summoned...
Exactly what someone who summons demons would say.
Beelzebub, the prince of demons, he set him down on a raised seat of honor. See how he's now kind of showing respect to Beelzebub, Beelzebul. See, the first time they met, Beelzebul had said, "It is I who make manifest the apparition of each demon." And he promised to bring in bonds all of the unclean spirits, and then Solomon glorified the God of heaven and earth. Look, I'm just thinking thoughts and asking questions that I don't have answers to. But you got to admit that something is fishy when you're talking about Solomon as the most righteous, wisest king of all time. And then on the other hand, Aleister Crowley is writing books about him on how to contact evil
Mr.
spirits. Last video I did on this subject, I pointed out how usually when there's some entity offering you wealth and power and all of your worldly desires, it's not God that's offering those. It's usually a Faustian bargain.
I was
or
gonna
a
say,
deal.
he literally thinks Faustian bargains are real. That's interesting. That's gotta be weird going through life genuinely believing people have the ability to contact demons and make deals with them. Scary worldview.
With the devil. If we look at this from a Christian perspective, the demons are fallen angels. They rebelled against God and they were cast out of heaven. Some would even say that it's punishment to the Nephilim, the sons of the fallen angels.
Giants on the bingo card.
But let's just
and Nephilim.
Just go with rebels who were kicked out of heaven. Now, if we look at the Islam tradition, they say these are the jinn, and that the jinn were a whole nother creation before mankind, and that Iblis was the highest ranking among them. The whole race of jinn that had populated the earth previous to mankind, and they were basically just like us. They had tribes, they had religions, they married each other, but they had turned wicked and started killing each other, and so God sent Iblis along with all of his angels down and wiped them all out. Then he formed Adam out of clay, and he breathed life into him, and then ordered all the angels in heaven to bow down to Adam. And Iblis said, no, I'm not bowing down to this. He's mud. I'm made of a smokeless fire. I'm better than
Is this Paradise Lost? You doing Paradise Lost right now?
him. So Iblis became the Shaitan, the adversary, where we get our name Satan. So no matter how you look at this, they were rebellious to God and no longer followed his orders. But in the Testament of Solomon, Solomon had been praying to have control over the demons. And he says the archangel Michael brought him a little ring, and with it thou shalt lock up all the demons of the earth, male and female, and with their help shall build Jerusalem. So if all it took to lock up all the demons was this little ring, then why didn't God or one of the angels do it already?
They needed someone with the appropriate level of will, and Hal Jordan hadn't been born yet.
But Beelzebul tells Solomon that it is I who make manifest the apparition of each demon. And then he promised to bring in bonds all of the unclean spirits. So who has control over the rebels, the demons?
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water? Didn't work out.
Good news, Elon Musk is an idiot. You don't have to take him seriously, even a little bit.
God or Beelzebul? Well, let's jump to the end of...
Beelzebub isn't Satan. A different entity.
The Testament of Solomon and see what the end result of all of this was. So this whole time, Solomon glorified God for giving him wisdom, giving him power over the demons, giving him all the riches of the world. And he took wives from every land who were numberless. And then he marched against the Jebusians and saw the daughter of a man and fell violently in love with her. So he said to their priests, a priest of Moloch, to give me this woman as a wife. And they said, well, if you want her, then go in and worship our gods, Raphan and the god Moloch. So,
wow, he was down bad. Peoplord says, oh wow, I think I gotta call my legislative representatives. I think I've got some voters' right suppression bills to propose.
The priest told the girl that don't sleep with him until he has completed a sacrifice to our gods. So she made it seem innocent enough and said, well, look, here's 5 grasshoppers. Just take them and crush them together in the name of Moloch, and then I'll sleep with you. Solomon says, and this I actually did, and at once the Spirit of God departed me, and I became weak as well as foolish in my words, and after that I was obliged by her to build a temple of idols to Baal, to Rapha, and to Moloch. I then...
That post-nut clarity hit real hard for Solomon.
And wretch that I am, followed her advice, and the glory of God quite departed from me, and my spirit was darkened, and I became the sport of idols and demons. Wherefore I wrote out this testament, that ye who get possession of it may pity and attend to the last thing.
I'm sorry, being the sport of demons is supposed to be bad in this context, right? I'm sorry, my view is a little skewed by my sexual fetishes.
And not to the first. So, I mean, he's really saying here that all of those great things that I did in this life, you guys shouldn't be revering me for that. You should be pitying me for those last little things that I did that I threw it all away.
Okay, let's see what else we got. He's just going on and on and on. Let's look at Angrier Chris, as I've come to know him.
All right, folks. Sorry I gotta do it to you again, but it's so frustrating to literally have the plan for World War III in your hands that's been unfolding over the last 20 plus years since 9/11 kicked it off.
You know, it's been in the planning department, just down the stairs. It's difficult to see, there's no light, but it's fine, it's been there. Should have commented.
The beginning of the fomentation of World War III. To foment is to instigate or stir up a violent sentiment to cause a desired course of action. Kind of like another form of Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution.
Excuse me, sir, I prefer Lacanian dialects.
To foment a problem, to cause a reaction, to implement your pre-planned desired solution. And most of you probably already know where I'm going with this, but I just don't hear anyone else talking about it. And now, granted, there's millions of YouTube channels, so I can't imagine someone out there hasn't at least mentioned it. But that's just it. People kind of mention it in passing and then get all caught up in the Hegelian dialectic again and forget about it. You know, even the channels that I do see that are trying to stay objective and show, you know, both sides of the argument, or they're both controlled, you know, aren't saying, here's the plan. It's obvious. I guess.
Don't like you hate when your plans for World War III leak on the internet? What a bummer.
You know, because people will say, well, that letter
Spent
never
like a whole week coming up with that.
existed. And of course, I'm talking about the Pike letter.
What's this guy on about? He thinks he has the plans to start World War III that he found on the internet.
Mazzini, that was attributed to Albert Pike. And, you know, of course, the mainstream will shout conspiracy theory. It never existed, even though supposedly it was in a museum for years.
Museums have never had any things as exhibits that weren't true. That's never been a thing ever. Definitely don't Google that.
And again,
for the record, museums have indeed had fakes and forgeries in them many times. It happens.
my point has always been, well, if it's forged and it's not real, whoever forged it was obviously laying out their plan for World War III. And every time I look at the news these days, all I can see in my head is them just sitting there in their evil, supervillain lair going, the plan is working perfectly.
That sounds like a psychological problem that you might want to get checked out in therapy. That sounds like you are hyper-focusing on some sort of idea that isn't real, but it feels real to you. So maybe go talk about that.
They're falling for it again. Still. And it's...
No, Zytam, he doesn't want one. And also Civil War is different than World War III. Usually the Civil War one is a discussion about partisan politics, where it's like a Trump supporter who wants to secede from the country or something, generally.
I put that video up the other day, it was good to see Jim Brewer exposing to his audience the flat Earth topic, but again, going back and reading through the comments, it is hard to know that you are being drugged down with, and your family, your children, are being drugged down into World War III by the hubris and totally unwarranted ego and pride of morons, literal parrots that will sit there and parrot the absolute dumbest, most easily debunked proofs of their globe to this day. And they just think they're brilliant. It's unbelievable. When you can see, just by the nature of their comment, they have put zero critical thought. They just went and found the first thing that confirmed their bias.
Oof.
Because God
Hot meat kettle.
forbid they admit they were duped like the rest of us. Only difference between us people is we had the integrity, the intellectual honesty to admit we were duped, and then the courage to stand up and call it out. These cowards wouldn't say shit if they had a mouthful, because they are emotional, mental cowards.
We do have thinly veiled and overt marked, but not for this. He did just say hubris, but prior other people did both overt and thinly veiled. So.
Go out and fight anybody and say, I'm not a coward. No, you are a coward.
Yeah, we'll check the card after this. This is the last video I'm thinking for the day, so we'll check the card and do final checks and see if anyone got a bingo in.
Because you will not stand up to the people that duped the entire world. Or you got the people, one of them was on that podcast, that there was Mark Sargent, Jim Brewer, and then the other guy, never heard of him before, but he's one of those, well, there's so much more important stuff going on in the world. Flat Earth needs to take a back burner. Okay, Captain Cuck. Because they can't comprehend.
You just called someone Captain Cuck because they're not a flat earther. Fun.
And
Captain Cuck probably has the best cuck chair. Oh my god, it's probably like a captain's chair, like from Star Trek. Scotty. Nope. Nope. Nope.
That
nope.
All of these problems in the world are the ultimate result.
I'm giving her all. I'm giving her all I've got, Captain. Good, Scotty. Continue.
Result of the globe deception, making people think they're insignificant space dust on a whirly-twirly vacuum rock. You know, of course, and that's the one issue I have with wishy-washy Mark Sargent that was on there. He will never come out and say it is to hide God, to keep people from God.
Doing a bad job. I've brought that up before. Most people are religious, and sure, not every religion includes a deity, but a lot of them do. I'd say that most people on Earth believe in some kind of deity, so maybe chill. Chill the fuck out. Chill the fuck out about it. Stone Corbell says it's not even that they're not flat earther, they just said that there are other things that are more important than flat earth we should be talking about. True.
And realizing there may be real consequences to their actions here in this place. And that's what it's all about. That's how we end up here. So please forgive me, but I'm going to read again, according to Albert Pike's letter, how the Third World War must be fomented. And you let me know, or anybody you might share this with, ask them how they cannot see it unfolding right before their eyes right now. Let's read. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the different...
Did he have to Google the word foment, and then, like, he thought it was a big new word no one knew, and that's why he spent so much time explaining the definition of foment, even though I think it's a pretty standard word most people know? Like, even if you couldn't rattle off the specific definition of foment, you would know what it means. Context clues, right? Like, does he think no one's heard that word?
Caused by the agentur of the Illuminati. Oh, God, it said Illuminati. Conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory.
It is, yep.
Which just means the illuminated ones, the ones that would write a letter like this. Between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. If you don't think that's unfolding right now, just go to any major college campus in the country. The war must be conducted.
I still don't get the God argument. Nothing about flat Earth proves any particular religion or necessarily requires a God. They think it does, though. It doesn't matter that it does or doesn't. In conspiracy theories, it matters what they think it means, not what it means, because the symbols they use to signify that they are correct, the ideas they use are secondary to the psychological function, right? What's important to them is that they feel bad, and they need to feel good, and they need a belief that'll solve that problem immediately. So the belief that they have sticks on it like a band-aid. Doesn't have to make sense, but to them it feels a certain way, so that's what they believe.
Conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionists, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. So
I'm sorry, does he think that conflict between Israel and Palestine is a new thing? Does he not understand that that's not a hot prediction? Like, really?
Yesterday in an article, and the Last Relevant Sage sent me a video about it today. There are senators that have written and signed, and it was apparently leaked intentionally, I promise you, a document stating that if The Hague should dare charge Netanyahu with war crimes of genocide and everything else he's done, they will impose sanctions against the International Criminal Court and up to invading the International Criminal Court should they bring him to trial for his genocide and war crimes.
Accidentally based on the bingo card.
Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical and moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. How's your spirit and wallet doing lately? Mine's being tested and tried, I promise you. But Jesus keeps me straight, and knowing the plan keeps me straight. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery.
The Hague Invasion Act, my understanding is that it has to do with U.S. service members, yes. People from the U.S. government or military, but I'm not sure if there was some sort of update on it or something.
And the most bloody turmoil. Well, welcome to Flat Earth, and welcome to the trans agenda, and all that. That has been the unleashing of the
Humiliated grapes. Let's check your bingo card. Scientism, accidentally based, free space, aliens are demons, and doesn't understand their problems are capitalism. Congrats, humiliated grapes. You do indeed win. Let me write your name down real quick. Humiliated Grapes is the winner of today's bingo win. Last minute, too. Good job, Humiliated Grapes. Hell yeah. We did have do your own we had did their own research on the bingo card, not do your own research.
nihilists and the atheists. Okay? That's what that's all been about. And pitting them against Christians. The Christians with the eyes to see and the ears to hear the truth of where we really live. And the courage to stand up and speak it. Which triggers all the godless little nihilists and atheists out there. then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves.
I don't understand why he thinks that inherently if you're non-religious, you're a nihilist. There are many philosophies outside of Christianity and nihilism. Those aren't the two choices.
And that's another thing. Sorry, let me go back. We will unleash the nihilists and atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nation.
You could be an existentialist, you could be a secular humanist, you could be an absurdist, you could be any number of, like, well-trodden and discussed philosophies about life. You could have so many different meta-narratives that sort of, like, guide you. Not just the two.
The effect of absolute...
Streaming at the radio says, also, what's wrong with nihilism? Nothing, that's what.
Atheism.
Does it even matter, man?
I've been trying to tell these...
Say what you will about nihilism, at least it's... Wait, no, what was the line from The Big Lebowski? They're nihilists. And I feel like he said... Doesn't Walter say something along the lines of, say what you will about the Viet Cong, but at least it's a fucking ethos, man, or something like that? Oh, National Socialism, that's what he says. Say what you will about the merits of National Socialism, dude, but at least it's an ethos.
Supposed atheists that...
I'm one of those insufferable people who absolutely loves The Big Lebowski. Sorry. I fucking love that movie.
Again, just follow...
Shut the fuck up, Donnie, you're out of your element.
Ancient Roman religion. The worship of Mars and Saturn and all these planets.
The planets were named after the Roman deities, not the other way around.
You know, it's often conveyed as kind of like
You've never seen it? Oh shit. You need to, it's good.
A mocking joke or anything, but no, we understand these people are in a cult and they worship a religion called heliocentrism, okay? It's not a model of the universe. It is a religion. Number one.
What do you think religion is? I'm so curious. I'd love to hear his definition of religion.
Because it doesn't exist.
It's got to be so broad as to mean that basically any belief is a religion, right? I know Jordan Peterson went down this road at one point.
And I've tried to tell these brilliant...
Has John Goodman ever done a bad movie? How do you feel about King Ralph?
People that think they're atheists, that the very people they're defending, the Freemasons that infest
or the 90s Borrowers movie?
NASA and our government
I like that movie.
Institutions despise them as much...
You shit on the Flintstones, I'll shit on you. Don't you dare shit on the live-action Flintstones. I love that movie.
Or more than...
Oh, he is bad in Blues Brothers 2000. That's not his fault, though. That's Dan Aykroyd all the way. Don't trust Dan Aykroyd. Don't trust Dan Aykroyd. End of sentence.
They do Christians. Because they are just useful idiots to those people. Because they know there's a God.
See, I like Viva Rock Vegas. Different actor. Not Goodman, but the production design on that one is fucking fun. I'm a fan of the Great Gazoo, so I'm biased.
Kill him and take over.
Yeah, so you have to be religious to be in the Freemasons.
So
historically, it's been Christianity, but modern times, it's any deity, basically.
You useful idiots who are so soulless and beaten down by the policies they institute, you refuse to accept that truth.
Since we're here anyway, can we just look up Dan Aykroyd? He's a very strange fella. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything necessarily like against the guy. He's fine as a person probably, but he has some woo-woo ass beliefs, let me tell you.
I'm Dan Aykroyd. Since childhood, I have been fascinated with the invisible world.
Oh, cool. Peoplord says, we could be one contemptuously stupid person less this November if someone locks that closet he's in his garage.
A world which can help us get through life if we know how to draw upon its power. A world serving positive projections, wherein you use your own personal, mental, and spiritual abilities to believe and subsequently make true the things that you want to happen for yourself. Also healing, miracles, the presences of spirits and beings once living, now gone into another life.
Can I set up an interview with Dan Aykroyd?
But who continue...
I could probably get Dan Aykroyd on this show. He's not even like the most impressive living Ghostbuster. That's fine.
...to intrude into our waking consciousness by, for instance, haunting people or places. The implicit potential indestructibility...
Would I want to? Yeah.
...of the soul must
probably talk about nothing but trouble most of the time.
concern us. All of the foregoing are actual elements in our existence. Over half of the world believes in such phenomena. There are plenty of photographic and audio materials, both conventional and digital, and also some trace physical evidence which support the premise that ghosts, UFOs and their occupants, plus other non-worldly presences exist. They indicate a supra form of reality as valid as our normal reality. But there is no jar of ectoplasm, and no one will show us the bodies from Roswell. We've had nothing to touch until now. This is an accurate glass rendering of a human skull, designed
It's a vodka ad.
by my friend, renowned American portraitist and landscape painter John Alexander, whose most recent exhibitions include showings at the American Wing of the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., and at the Houston Museum of Fine Art in Houston, Texas.
I will say this, as a recovered alcoholic, I've not drank in years. It is a good vodka. If you're a person who can drink in a healthy, non-damaging way, and you're looking for a overpriced vodka with a cool bottle, it is pretty fucking smooth. It's not worth the $80 I spent on it. I got it once for my birthday one year. The bottle's cool, but like, damn, it's like $80.
It has been constructed to our demanding specifications after more than 2 years in development by one of the leading glass manufacturers in Europe.
I would recommend, if you just think the bottle is cool, they sell little ones that are just like little one. They're tiny. They're like I don't even remember the terms anymore. That's good. It's good I don't remember which size is which number at this point. Anyway, they have little ones that you can get that are like 10 or 15 bucks. If you just want the bottle, do that. Don't get the whole fucking thing. Ferris Heck says his brother's history of spiritualism shows how much their family was involved in the height of it in the US-Canadian era. It explains a lot about his interests. We'll have to look into it.
Glass. According to Bruni, no one has ever attempted to make a bottle of such quality and complexity as I hold in my hand. The obvious question is, why did we do this? John
it's fair.
and I have always been avid researchers on the subject of the legendary 13 crystal heads, which have been...
The crystal skulls are a hoax, by the way, if you didn't know. We've not covered them a ton on this show, though we have briefly. They're a hoax. They're an interesting hoax, but a hoax nonetheless.
Unearthed at numerous locations and at various times on our planet. The story goes that 13 crystal heads have been found in places varying from the Yucatan Peninsula in Central America to the American Southwest in New Mexico and also in Tibet. There are now 7 heads known...
I don't trust any region whose primary export is turquoise.
...to be in mankind's custody. Mitchell Hedges in Ontario, Canada. Smithsonian Institution's Exhibits 1 and 2, the British Museum piece, Max in Texas, the Cross in Mexico City, and one currently owned by a woman in the Southwest who claims that she had to finally put it in a closet after he or she began speaking to her.
At least Dan Aykroyd's fun, right? He does sound like he's into this shit. I see why he worked in Ghostbusters, because he just is that batshit. Wonderful. Alright. We're done for the day. Someone already won bingo, so we're not going to go over the card. Let's see who we're going to raid. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. This was a fun stream. Tomorrow, we will most likely be covering, the Polte event and some other meme stock stuff, but probably mostly the Polte event, because I'm sure it's been a shit show. And that's about it. So, have a great night. Be cool, and, I don't know, be cool about fire safety, I guess? Be cool about fire safety. Be cool about fire safety. I don't know how to end these anymore. Love you, Mr. Blast. Have a great night, everyone. See you soon.